This page is the front cover of SEGA Saturn magazine from June 1995, highlighting brand new SEGA Saturn titles. The main special feature focuses on RPGs for the Saturn, titled Saturn DRPG Part 2, mentioning games like Lightning Wisdom, Tenkai Makyo Daion no Mokushiroku, Riglord Saga and Blue Seed as the latest RPGs to check out. The cover also teases Capcom's new titles, with a scoop on Street Fighter II movie, and a horror game called School Scary Rumors Flower Child is coming. Acclaim Japan is having a 95 presentation announcing 5 new Saturn games. There's a section showcasing the latest SEGA Saturn games, including Extreme Parodius, Twinbee Yahoo, Super Real Mahjong P7, and Metal Fighter Miku. The SEGA Saturn Complete Guide section mentions Daytona USA, Panzer Dragon, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV. As a special bonus, there's a Super Real Mahjong PV poster included. Finally, the cover features World Advanced Daisenryaku 2, or World Advanced War 2, with an action-packed bumper-to-bumper theme, showing off the game's 1/60th scale movement. This page promotes Greatest 9, a brand new baseball game for the SEGA Saturn. It boasts smooth and speedy gameplay with realistic visuals, using real player data from all 12 professional baseball teams. The game features actual players, with their real names and likenesses, built using polygons and textures for its virtual stadiums. It aims to recreate a true pennant race experience, even going as far as to call it the SEGA Saturn League. It's described as a complete broadcast professional baseball game. Greatest 9 was set to release on May 26th for 5,800 yen. The page also includes screenshots from the game showcasing the in-game graphics. This page is showcasing a selection of upcoming and recently released SEGA Saturn games. Starting off, we have Blue Seed, based on the popular anime, described as a role-playing game grounded in Japanese mythology. Following that is Grand Chaser, a visually striking near-future battle racing game. Then there's New Ninja Legend, the latest in a well-loved ninja action series, promising a serious ninja experience. Moving down the page, we see Daytona USA, touted as an arcade-perfect conversion with impressive 3D graphics, bringing intense stock car racing to your home. Next is Shining Crystal Legend, Asutar, a fantasy RPG set in a world crafted from jewels, offering a grand adventure. Finally, Rampo is highlighted as an interactive movie adventure based on the Rampo film, spanning 2 discs. The bottom of the page promotes the SEGA Saturn console itself, advertising it at a price of 44,800 yen, emphasizing its great software lineup. The games featured represent a diverse range of genres, highlighting the Saturn's appeal to a wide audience. This page is a vibrant advert for Konami's Parodius Da Deluxe Pack for the SEGA Saturn. It's a compilation of the classic and over-the-top cute-em-up games in the Parodius series, promising extreme parody action. The page is dominated by a large, colorful illustration showcasing the game's wacky cast of characters, including penguins, octopus, a pig, and a mermaid-like figure. There's a screenshot showing in-game action featuring the mermaid character in a side-scrolling shooter scenario, emphasizing the game's chaotic and humorous gameplay. The advert highlights a release date of May 19th and a suggested retail price. It also mentions a Get the Soft campaign for SEGA Saturn software, promoting software sales. The Konami company details and regional office addresses are listed at the bottom. This page is packed with upcoming Konami titles for the SEGA Saturn. First up is Powerful Pro Baseball 95 Opening Edition, promising real baseball action and gameplay, scheduled for release in July. Next we have Twinbee Taisen Puzzle Dama, a competitive puzzle game featuring the cute Twinbee characters, also planned for a July release. Then there's Tokimeki Memorial Forever with You, the popular romance simulation game finally making its way to the Saturn this summer, promising a passionate experience in a high school setting. Lastly, jigsaw puzzles featuring characters from Konami games, including Shina-chan, are also being released in June, with various piece counts and prices. There's also a scratch card campaign, where you can win Konami SEGA Saturn software and other prizes. The page also lists Konami's customer support, hotline details, and regional office phone numbers. This page showcases 2 games. Firstly, there's Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV from Koei, described as a grand historical simulation game for Sega Saturn. The advert emphasizes its dramatic historical setting, realistic depiction of the Three Kingdoms era in China, and deep strategic gameplay. It mentions enhanced drama and realism, and highlights features like soundware mode and file functions. A Saturn version was already available at 14,800 yen, with a Super 32X version also announced for release in June at the same price. Next up is an advert for Emit Volume 1, Toki no Mayoiko, Time Divergence, from Riverhill Soft. This is an educational adventure game designed to help players learn English naturally through a new multimedia experience. It highlights the original story by Jiro Akagawa and lists voice actors like Akio Nojima and Nozomu Sasaki. The game is advertised as being currently on sale for 8,800 yen, with 2 more volumes planned. Volume 2, Asagari no Tabi, Journey of the Morning Mist, and Volume 3, Watashi ni Sayonara wo, Say Goodbye to Me. Super Real Mahjong PV for the Sega Saturn is promoted as a near-perfect arcade port, launching May 26 for 8,800 yen. While acknowledging differences between arcade and home versions, the developers aimed for a high-quality experience. Graphics are largely intact, with minor adjustments for the 18+ rating. CD-ROM technology ensures full voice and music from the arcade. Controls are optimized for the Saturn pad, including alphabetical menu selection. The game features 8 difficulty levels, character selection, and a hint system. The title screen has been modified from the arcade version. Buyers receive bonus content, 3 character art extras featuring Mizuki, Aya, and Emi, and a free copy of Bean Book Volume 3. The game promises a mahjong experience with anime-style characters, bringing the arcade feel to the Saturn. This page introduces Bakabanzu for the Sega Saturn. It's described as a versus fighting puzzle game based on the popular Tensai Bakaban anime and manga series. Priced at 4,800 yen, this Sega Saturn exclusive software from Sega General Entertainment is set to release in June. The screenshot shows a puzzle game in action, and the text highlights that the characters are indeed Bakaban characters, confirming it's a block-dropping puzzle game. It's being recommended as Susume Bakabanzu, meaning recommend Bakabanzu. This page is an advertisement for Amusement Media Academy, a school focused on training people for careers in the entertainment industry. They offer various courses including game creator courses covering game design, programming, and character design, CG animation creator courses focusing on 2D, 3D, and character animation, and multimedia creator courses teaching CD-ROM title production, digital sound, and communication networks. They also have a voice actor talent course which covers anime voice acting, Western dubbing, and CM narration. The advert highlights both full-time and evening/weekend courses are available. They are also promoting an audition for new voice actors, with auditions planned for October in Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya. It seems to be a school aiming to nurture the next generation of entertainment creators across different fields. This page continues the advertisement for Amusement Media Academy, and it introduces Takeo Akira as a special advisor at the school. They're really proud of their 95.83% employment rate for graduates. The school offers a bunch of courses covering different creative areas, like computer animation games, manga and comic creation, various art and animation disciplines, voice acting, and even special effects and visual novels. They're pushing their free trial lessons and information sessions for anyone interested in joining. And if you fancy yourself a voice actor, they're holding free auditions in October in Tokyo, Osaka, and Nagoya to find new talent. It seems like a great place to learn if you want to get into the entertainment industry. This page is an advertisement for 2 game strategy guides. The top part is for the 4th Super Robot Wars Super Guide, which covers the popular strategy RPG series featuring famous robots like Gundam, Getter Robo, and Mazinger Z. It's a complete guide promising to cover everything about the game, including all 69 maps and data for all 272 robots and units in the game. It also features scenario guides and background information. The bottom half advertises the Lunar 2 Eternal Blue Official Setting Material Collection. This is a guide for the Sega Mega CD RPG, and it boasts over 500 setting illustrations, valuable initial development materials not visible in the game itself, and interviews with the main development staff. It also highlights a special cover illustration by Toshiaki Takeda. The ad describes it as a must-have collector's item for fans wanting to relive the emotional experience of Lunar 2. This page is an advertisement for a couple of books related to the Super Real Mahjong series. It looks like they are pushing the Super Real Mahjong page via original pictures and setting material collection book, which is finally on sale. They are boasting about it, including a pin-up illustration by Tanaka Ryo, a unique flying out picture book, and loads of unreleased setting art and cell artwork. Apparently it covers everything about the characters Mizuki, Aya, and Akira. The book is a 4 size with 80 color pages and 32 monochrome pages, and it also comes with a flying out PV pop-up and another pin-up. The price is 2,000 yen. Alongside this, they are also advertising previously released books in the series that are still popular. These are the Super Real Mahjong P2 and P2I Fanbook, and the Super Real Mahjong PIV Original Pictures and Setting Material Collection, both also a 4 size and priced at 2,000 yen. It seems like they are really trying to appeal to fans of the Super Real Mahjong series with these art and setting material books. This page is showcasing a couple of interesting books. Up top, we've got the Guardian City 2 Original Art and Setting Material Collection. If you're a fan of this PC RPG, this looks like a must-have. It's jammed with unreleased artwork, setting details, and even covers event and dungeon tips, all with really beautiful graphics here. They're promising a special pin-up too, and it's aimed at folks who love both the game and 2D art in general. It's an A4-sized book, 160 pages, and will set you back 2,500 yen when it drops in early May. Below that, there's the CG Networker's Self-Selected Works collection. This one looks like a showcase of talent from 33 centigrams artists and 8 freeware creators in the PC scene. It comes with a CD-ROM for Mac and Windows, packed with uncompressed CG data. They're highlighting new CG techniques and aiming this at people into BBS and PC communication. This one is a bit smaller, B5 size, 180 pages, and costs 2,900 yen. This page presents a collection of RPG-related books and audio dramas. It features an RPG Imagination Dictionary Item Guide, explaining items' lore and use in Western fantasy games, with historical context and examples. An advertisement highlights a Langrisser 2 Memorial CD and fanbook based on the Mega Drive game, covering the conflict between Elwyn and Leon with character introductions, series history, and a cast list. Other books in the RPG Imagination Dictionary series are also promoted. The Game Best Selection lists game guides, including those for Mystery of the Sewage School, Pendragon, Far East of Eden, and SimCity 2000. Finally, Recent Releases announces upcoming guides for Tower and Theme Park. The publisher is SoftBank Publishing Department. This magazine issue features a special report on Virtua Cop and World Advanced Daisenryaku. It previews Acclaim Japan's 95 presentation, showcasing Mortal Kombat 2, Alien Trilogy, and others. SEGA Saturn titles are highlighted, including School Ghost Stories, Shin Shinobaiden, and a provisional Lunar title, alongside games like Rayforce and Clockwork Knight. The Coming Soon section teases Chikyu Parodius Da, Super Real Mahjong P5, and others. The issue also includes a special feature on Saturn RPGs, with Tengai Makyo Gaiden and Shining Wisdom mentioned. The SEGA Saturn Software Complete Guide offers strategies for Daytona USA and Panzer Dragoon. The AM2 Research Institute analyzes Virtua Fighter 2's animation. The Hyper Mega Express column covers Tempo, Paracode, and Light Crusader, alongside other regular magazine features. This page talks about a big game and toy event happening in Makuhari called the 95 Tokyo Toy Show, expecting around 35,000 items, including the latest video games. Sega and other game companies will be there showcasing their summer software lineups. Last year, attendees enjoyed seeing Saturn games like what seems to be Virtua Fighter in action. It's happening over 2 days in early June, and entry is just 500 yen. In news, Cyan, the creators of the highly successful Saturn title Myst, are now developing Myst 2 for the system. They are collaborating with Land K. Miller and Chris W. Brandcamp on the project, and aiming for a simultaneous release with the Mac version. If you're stuck in Myst, their advice is to take a week off and then try again. Lastly, the page features Game Soul, a character goods shop located in Tower Records, Shibuya, promoting summer merchandise like t-shirts, caps, card cases, and CD player bags, perfect for grabbing some cool gaming gear. This page is full of diverse information, starting with movie and game news. Hokkaido, a character from a 70s show, is making a comeback in a new movie using the latest special effects, and a game adaptation is also in the works. For the creative types, there's a game scenario contest, sponsored by Isetan Department Store, offering prize money and a trip to Hong Kong if you win, and winning entries might even become actual games. Moving to media releases, there's an advert for the Mega LD library promoting Yuko Sakamoto's Beauty Recreation Collection on Mega LD, boasting about the superior analog video quality of the format. Anime fans will be happy to hear that Magic Knight Rayearth is getting a Laserdisc release, with a limited edition that includes original bonus items. Konami is running a Get the Soft campaign, where buying their Saturn games gives you scratch cards to win prizes like Konami Saturn software. Rounding things off are a few CD reviews, including Mr. Children's single Theme of Ease, which is the theme song for a movie. There's also Ohashi Ritsuko's single, Koishitakute Koishinakute, Sakai Noriko's Nure Usagi, and Takahata Yoshiko's Suki. Demo Suki, all linked to TV dramas and expressing themes of love and longing. Finally, a video CD called Tears Data by Chiaki Hiroshima is highlighted as a collection of gravure shots with bonus data. This page features an interview with the singer Minako Honda, presented as a SEGA Saturn Supporters Volume 4 segment, and she mentions she will be singing a song that matches the grand theme of Rayearth. Minako Honda talks about her love for games since middle school, when she was obsessed with Mr. Do. Even after her debut as a singer, she still wanted a game console, and her agency president helped her find one, likely a Sega Saturn. She mentions enjoying simple games recently, and playing old games when working in places like hot springs. She admits to getting easily hooked on games and using them as stress relief. She is singing the ending theme for Magic Knight Rayearth, and feels emotionally invested in the song, wanting to convey the believing in people spirit of the anime through her music, and create songs with a grand scale. There is also a small biography section detailing her career highlights, mentioning her hit song One Way Generation, and her involvement with the Rayearth ending theme Rara Lullaby, and the band The Boom, contributing to her album production. The top-selling Sega Saturn games are led by Panzer Dragoon, followed by Daytona USA and Virtua Fighter. Other notable titles include Daidaros, Idol Janshi Tsuchiepai Special, Victory Goal, Rampo, Pebble Beach Golf Links, Clockwork Knight, and Gotha 2. The arcade scene is dominated by Virtua Fighter 2, followed by Ace Combat 2. The arcade market reflects a trend towards polygon-based games. Sega's Cool Riders is also mentioned by the team behind Outrunners. The current top 5 arcade games in popularity are listed: Virtua Fighter 2, Ace Combat 2, Tekken, Sega Rally Championship, and Vampire Hunter. This page showcases 2 main user polls, one for games they wish would be converted to the Sega Saturn, and another for their most anticipated new Saturn software. In the Want to Sega Saturn Convert poll, Ridge Racer tops the list, followed by Vampire Hunter and Super Street Fighter 2X. Other notable titles in the top 10 include Final Fantasy series, Policenauts, Sonic the Hedgehog series, Rent-a-Hero, and Shin Samurai Spirits. The hopeful Sega Saturn new soft poll is topped by Virtua Fighter 2, which is described as aiming for 1/60th of a second world, boasting high expectations for its OS screen display. Sega Rally Championship is second, and X-Men is third. Other games in the top anticipated list include Virtua Cop, SimCity 2000, Super Real Mahjong PV, Vampire, Gokujo Parodius, Virtua Racing Saturn, and Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. There are celebratory notes for Shining Wisdom and Lunar, mentioning they are in development. At the bottom, there are also check sections featuring screenshots of Virtua Cop and Clockwork Knight 2. The next page continues the reader poll with Odds Table Saturn ranking games by reader satisfaction. Virtua Fighter tops the chart, followed by Daytona USA and Panzer Dragoon. Pebble Beach Golf Links, Victory Goal, Myst, Rampo, Clockwork Knight, and Idol Janshi Tsuchipai Special are also in the top 10. True Love Story, Daedalus, Gotha, Ismailia Senki, and Wanchai Connection are mentioned further down the list. There are also sections titled New Super Horse Introduction, which seem to be short reviews or comments on some of these games. Daytona USA is praised for its arcade feel and graphical quality, with reviewers highlighting its exhilarating speed and fun factor. Panzer Dragoon is lauded as a beautiful shooter, with comments mentioning its impressive visuals and sense of immersion. Shanghai, Banri no Chojo, Shanghai, Great Wall, is described as a puzzle game, with reviewers noting its challenging but engaging gameplay, recommending it for puzzle game fans. Overall, this page presents reader rankings for Sega Saturn games, and provides brief reviewer comments on some of the top titles, focusing on their strengths and appeal to players. This magazine issue features reader game rankings, starting with New Super Horse Introduction, which highlights Daedalus, ranked 12th, a Doom-like game with engaging gameplay. Hoppoito Heibereke, 17th, is a cute puzzle game. Other new attention horse games include Mahjong Ryujima, a well-regarded mahjong game, and Emit Volume 1, Toki no Maigo, a visually impressive adventure game. The Soaring Saturn lineup section covers the Sega Saturn reader poll, with focus on the Daytona vs Panzer Dragoon vs Sega AM2 contest. Dress Up Favorite Game asks about Virtual Hidelight. Additionally, the issue promotes an odds prediction game and a reader participation contest. All readers race participation big recruitment, with prizes, encouraging submissions by June 4th. The next page is a scoop on the Saturn version of Virtua Cop, revealing development screenshots. It's touted as the world's first polygon gun shooting game, making its way to the Saturn. The article mentions it's still early in development, at 20% completion. An interview snippet with AM2's Okashi from the previous month indicates the Saturn version is already feeling very good, aiming for arcade quality in movement. The developers are confident about achieving arcade-level gameplay on the Saturn. They highlight the smooth character animations and detailed backgrounds, even at this stage, although textures are not yet fully applied to characters. The AM2 development team is focused on using a new OS for Saturn development, drawing on lessons learned from Daytona USA, and applying feedback to continuously improve the OS. They are aiming to make development easier and more efficient with this new OS, emphasizing ongoing evolution and improvement for future Saturn games. The article suggests keeping an eye on further developments in Virtua Cop for the Saturn. The Saturn version of Virtua Cop promises a faithful arcade experience. Check 1 details the lock-on sight system, a visual feedback mechanism that clarifies hit detection by displaying enemy attack points and reticle changes for lock-on, adding realism and tension. Check 2 highlights realistic enemy reactions based on where they are shot, encouraging strategic aiming for higher scores. The development team, AM2, states the movement will be exactly the same as the arcade version, ensuring authenticity. The team is confident in replicating the core gameplay and teases potential light gun support, solidifying the goal of an arcade-like experience on the Saturn. The next page is titled Stage 1's Famous Spot Check, and it's part 3 of the Virtua Cop coverage. This time, they are comparing the arcade and Saturn versions of Stage 1 to see how faithfully the Saturn port recreates it. Screenshots highlight details like backgrounds and enemy positions, and the article expresses confidence that if Stage 1 is this good, Stages 2 and 3 should also be impressive. There's also excitement building for the upcoming June toy show, where Virtua Cop is expected to be a highlight, appearing even more polished than the previously shown Virtua Fighter 2 demo. The AM2 development team chimed in to talk about mouse support for Virtua Cop, stating it's a key feature and offers a different play experience compared to using a light gun. They encourage players to look forward to trying it out. World Advanced War Strategy, Steel Storm, provisional title, is a Sega Saturn strategy game promising an evolution of the classic PC and Mega Drive's Advanced Daisenryaku. This summer release, price yet to be announced, aims to recapture the addictive depth of its predecessors, which offered realistic gameplay elements like smart AI, weather, and terrain effects. The Saturn version boasts significant enhancements, including larger maps, twice the size of previous games, enhanced graphics, and real-time 3D CG battle scenes. Building upon the Mega Drive version's features like branching campaigns, unit upgrades, a vast arsenal of weapons, and historical elements, The Saturn edition further aims to recreate historical events, such as the 1939 invasion of Poland. Advanced World War, Steel Storm, for SEGA Saturn is the focus of this preview. The game promises improvements over its predecessor, including faster processing, enhanced graphics, and immersive sound, specifically highlighting submarine and battle sounds. The developers address the prior game's slower pace and simplified battles. An interview reveals improvements to AI and unit behavior, aiming for more strategic and human-like gameplay. New gameplay elements and refined systems are being added to create a more engaging experience with a sense of tension. Map design is evolving with detailed terrain features, leading to more intricate and enjoyable maps. The developers are incorporating player feedback and aiming to exceed expectations, supported by a processing speed 20 times faster. Screenshots of related titles showcase the strategic depth and gameplay style players can anticipate. This page announces 2 new interactive movie titles from Capcom for the SEGA Saturn. First up is Street Fighter II, the animated movie, which is an interactive movie version of the theatrical anime filmed. It lets you relive the excitement of the movie, allowing you to jump to any scene and even view design documents and concept art. You can play as Ryu and Ken in interactive movie sequences, experiencing famous scenes from their younger days. The screenshots show familiar faces like Chun-Li, Guile, and M. Bison in action. The second title is School's Scary Rumors. Hanako-san Came. Also an interactive movie, this one based on the popular anime series. It's an adventure-style game where urban legends come to life, focusing on the story of Hanako-san, a ghost summoned from a phone booth. The game is narrated in a style similar to the TV anime, with branching storylines and original scenarios promised. This title is also planned for Mac and Windows, alongside the Saturn release. Screenshots reveal spooky scenes featuring Hanako-san and some other mysterious characters. Capcom highlights these titles as bringing popular anime properties into the interactive movie format on Saturn, emphasizing the exciting gameplay experience of both Street Fighter II, the animated movie, and School's Scary Rumors. Hanako-san Came on the platform. They are presented as highly anticipated titles, bringing the popular anime worlds directly to the SEGA Saturn. Capcom is promoting several projects. The Street Fighter the movie, provisional, is now Street Fighter Real Battle on Film, with a poster giveaway campaign. The Street Fighter II anime TV show is a hit, adapting the story from America to Hong Kong and featuring classic characters. Voice actors Kenji Haga, Ken, and Kotani Kinya, Ryu, are excited about the project. 3 Candela's releases are highlighted: a Street Fighter movie soundtrack with music by various musicians, a Vampire Hunter / Darkstalkers Revenge arcade game soundtrack, and Yuki's single Kaze Fuitaru, linked to the TV anime. Finally, Capcom is launching a new fax service on April 28, providing 24-hour information on software, tips, and events for various platforms. This page announces Acclaim Japan's big move into the SEGA Saturn market, with a 95 presentation where they unveiled 5 new titles. They're talking about a rebirth of Acclaim Japan, aiming to send unique and impactful software worldwide. Acclaim is focusing on being a leader in next-gen gaming, utilizing motion capture tech, and developing for multiple platforms, including a shift towards more product development in Japan. They're supporting a wide range of platforms, releasing a lot of new titles, about 15 to 18 in total, including Turok, Dinosaur Hunter, which is mentioned as being for the Nintendo 64. They're also looking at telecommunications and game distribution as part of their entertainment business strategy. They're introducing a new slogan concept, centered around words like super, supreme, superior, cool/great, and spark, spicy, stylish, wonderful. Aiming for a game declaration campaign at E3 in America, their future direction involves strengthening their presence in both the US and Japanese markets, improving development and user communication, and generally solidifying their partnerships. Key figures mentioned at Acclaim Japan include Gregory Fishbach, Jeffrey Mulligan, and Koji Koshishi. Acclaim Japan unveils 5 upcoming SEGA Saturn titles. Alien Trilogy, in development for 3 years, uses motion capture for realistic character animations, and immerses players in the Alien universe. Motion capture technology is detailed, explaining the process of translating actor movements into in-game character animation. Mortal Kombat 2 Complete Edition is promised as the definitive Saturn port, delivering arcade-perfect graphics, sound, and enhancements. Virtual Photo Studio Volume 1 and Volume 2 offers an erotic camera simulation experience with high-quality graphics designed for hardcore users. Inachu Takyubu, based on a popular manga, hints at a unique story and characters. Finally, Revolution X, a gun-shooting game starring Aerosmith, promises exciting gameplay and beautiful graphics, faithfully recreating the arcade experience with Aerosmith's involvement. This page is showcasing the latest SEGA Saturn game releases and upcoming titles. It highlights games that are geared towards the June toy show, introducing new games that are coming soon. The new release title section lists a series of games with page numbers, including titles like Last Gladiators, Mahjong Mad Era Sexy Idol Edition, Quo Vadis, Race Drivin', Darkseid, SSTV Anime Slam Dunk, and Marriage. The Coming Soon Soft section teases more SEGA Saturn software coming from third-party developers. This section includes a longer list of games such as Extreme Parodius Da, Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu, 95 Opening Edition, Twinbee Yahoo, Deluxe Pack, Graduation 2 Neo Generation, Playing Tong Nerte, Heisei Genius Bakaban Susum, Bakapanzu, Time Detective DD The Phantom of the Clock Tower, Super Real Mahjong PV, Mahuno Princess Minky Momo Remember Dream, Ayrton Senna Personal Talk, Perfect Pro Yakyu Grateful 9, Metal Fighter Less Than Heart Greater Than Miku, Game no Datsujin, and Grand Chaser. The page also features a 3D rendered male character, prominently displayed, seemingly related to one of the highlighted games, but without further context, it's hard to pinpoint which one. Overall, the page is an exciting preview of the upcoming SEGA Saturn game lineup, promising a diverse range of genres from sports to anime teens and mahjong titles. This page spotlights the new SEGA Saturn release, School Ghost Stories. It's presented as a horror game set in a familiar school environment, based on a popular movie series. The game is rated at 60% complete, and was expected for release around July. The page emphasizes the abundance of movie-like scenes within the game, showcasing screenshots of spooky school corridors and terrified characters. The game narrative revolves around children trapped in a school haunted by mysteries, and collecting courage pieces to escape. There's a section called Sega Says that recommends the game, highlighting the School Ghost Stories craze and suggesting it's a top pick for the season, likely referring to the summer holidays. Alongside School Ghost Stories, the page lists other upcoming titles including Fantastic Twinbee Yahoo, possibly a Ninja Gaiden game, SimCity 2000, and Lunar Silver Star Story. Action titles like Rayforce and Clockwork Knight 2 are also mentioned, along with a Slam Dunk TV anime game, Race Drivin', Darkseid, and Quo Vadis. A mahjong title and a game called Marriage Mirage are also listed. This page is all about Shinobi Legions, the latest installment in the classic arcade Shinobi series, now upgraded for the SEGA Saturn. They are really pushing the SEGA Saturn quality for this one, promising a dramatic ninja action experience. The story talks about a warrior receiving the blood of the ninja in a time of war, leading to the birth of the ultimate ninja art. We are introduced to characters like Kazuma, Aya, and Shao, who are tied to this ninja lineage. Kazuma and Shao are learning the ninja arts from Akaya, but Kazuma seems to be consumed by power, causing concern. Gameplay-wise, they emphasize the diverse ninja techniques and swordplay. Apparently, there are over 20 different techniques that players can master and use strategically, which sounds like a lot of options for combat. The game features 9 stages in total, and each stage is designed to feel like a dramatic scene from a movie to amp up the immersion. They also highlight the unique and individualistic boss characters you'll encounter. The game was 70% complete at the time of this article, and was scheduled for release on June 30th, priced at 4,800 yen, as a single-player action title. The article questions how this Saturn version will stack up, considering the series' history on Sega consoles. They are definitely hyping up the bosses as a highlight too, saying they are full of personality. This page is packed with exciting news for SEGA Saturn gamers. First up, Konami is releasing a deluxe pack for Twinbee called Datana Twinbee Yahoo Deluxe Pack. It's the second in their deluxe shooting game series and features Datana Twinbee, which was originally an arcade game from '91, along with a brand new title, Twinbee Yahoo. They've mentioned that Datana Twinbee on this deluxe pack is an enhanced version, boasting new anime-style demos. Twinbee Yahoo! Itself is also making its way from arcades to home consoles, and will have some fresh new elements added for this version. It sounds like Konami is really celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Twinbee series with this release. Next we have SimCity 2000 coming to the Sega Saturn, and this isn't just any port. Maxis, the original developers of SimCity, are handling the Saturn version directly. They're emphasizing that this will be the authentic SimCity experience, not just a quick conversion from other platforms. They're promising high quality and unique elements tailored for the Saturn, aiming to capture the fun of city building and management, with extra Saturn-specific features on top of the PC version. This should be a great addition for strategy and simulation fans on the Saturn. This page dives into two exciting titles from Game Arts for the Sega Saturn. First up is Yumi Mix Remix, described as a Saturn project that's finally kicking off. It seems to be an adventure game, currently 70% complete, and it's being adapted from a Mega CD version that was well received. They mention it's going to be packed with extras beyond just a simple port, including mini-games and other elements, and will be shown at the Tokyo Toy Show. The screenshots show anime-style characters, and it sounds like it's got a lighthearted, school-life vibe, perhaps with a bit of mystery or unusual events happening to the main character, Yumimi. Next up is Lunar, tentative title, which is stated to be a Mega CD RPG coming to the Saturn. It's mentioned as being the first in the Lunar the Silver Star series, and will incorporate elements from the Mega CD version. They're still figuring out how exactly to remake it for Saturn, which explains the question mark for the completion status. It's a collaboration between Game Arts and Kadokawa Shoten. We get character introductions for Luna, a heroine who seems to be a normal girl with hidden magical powers, and Ailes, a young villager. Screenshots are shown from both the original Mega CD version and the Saturn version in development, highlighting the graphical leap. It sounds like they are aiming to bring the charm of Lunar to the Saturn in a big way. This page showcases Layer Section, known as Galactic Attack internationally, a shooting game for the Sega Saturn that's currently 50% complete. Developed by Taito, this game boasts two-player simultaneous play and is a Saturn version of the arcade hit Rayforce, although the title has been officially changed for this release. The article highlights the signature lock-on laser as a powerful weapon, emphasizing that the hit detection is just as precise as in the arcade. Round 2 is complete and playable, showing off moving bosses and impressive visuals, with the blue backgrounds described as easy on the eyes. Enemies in Area 2 are noted to have tricky movements and are robust. The two-player mode is a key feature, encouraging cooperative play. While the arcade version allowed for up to 8 simultaneous lock-ons total with 2 players, the Saturn version adjusts this to a maximum of 4 total, emphasizing tighter teamwork. Players can also look forward to facing massive battleship enemies that launch missile barrages and have destructible parts, promising epic battles. Taito's comments confirm that the game was playable up to round 2 in 2-player mode at a recent show. While the release date is still undecided, development is progressing smoothly. They hint at revealing more in the next issue, including information on Gaiars and Hat Trick Hero. This page is all about Clockwork Knight 2, known in Japan as Clockwork Knight, Pepperuchow's Great Adventure Lower Volume. It announces, Tongarala returns, and asks, Chelsea, how did it turn out? The game is currently 30% complete, and is scheduled for release in July, costing 4,800 yen, and is in the action genre. The article discusses how they're progressing with the sequel, focusing on making it even more enjoyable than the first game, and continuing Chelsea's adventure. They mention that new ideas are being tested, and the game will be a lively and fun experience with toy-like characters in a house setting. It seems they are showing off the opening sequence of Clockwork Knight 2, and are excited about it. There's also a section calling for trap and gimmick ideas for Clockwork Knight 2 from readers. They are looking for fun trap and gimmick ideas, and will give a copy of Clockwork Knight 2 to the top 10 ideas chosen. They encourage readers to submit their ideas, emphasizing that they are looking for creative and interesting traps and gimmicks that can be implemented in the game. The page details the submission guidelines, including address and deadline, which is June 7th. The screenshots show in-game scenes with Tongarala and Chelsea in what looks like a toy-filled house environment, highlighting colorful visuals and 3D elements. This page is showcasing two upcoming Sega Saturn titles. Firstly, we have Last Gladiators, which is touted as a collection of realistic digital pinball games rendered with beautiful CG graphics for the Sega Saturn. It boasts an online manual feature and is currently 90% complete. Expected to be released around June 23rd for 5,800 yen. The page highlights 4 pinball tables within the collection: Rage, Multiball, Warlock, and Gladiators, each with unique themes like knights, dragons, and gladiators. Secondly, there's Mahjong Frenzy Era Sexy Idol Edition, a strip mahjong game described as X-rated. It seems to be incorporating real-life video footage of sexy idols into the gameplay, a first for Saturn software. This title is 30% complete and features a sexy idol group called Endall, with 3 members. The game is based on the current trend of strip mahjong games and aims to let players undress the sexy idols in the game. This page highlights a couple of new games coming to the Sega Saturn. First up is Quo Vadis, a game with character designs by Yoshiki Takaya, known for his detailed characters and serious storylines. It seems to be a space combat simulation game, where you control units in space battles. The graphics look quite detailed and impressive, especially the spaceship designs. The developers say they are really focusing on making the battles feel immersive and grand. They are showing off screenshots of the in-game graphics and animation demos, though it's still in development. Next is Race Driven, which sounds like it might be causing some delays, as the text mentions users getting impatient. However, it seems like the developers, Twin, are working hard on it, and they ask for a bit more patience. This version is said to be a Saturn original, with real mode, 3 courses, and highlights. You can see some screenshots of the courses and the in-car view, promising an immersive racing experience. Finally, there are previews of tracks from another racing game. We have Windy Forest, described as a Daytona USA-like course, with simple but fun gameplay. Rainbow Road is mentioned as being long, challenging, and diverse, with tricky turns and a notable rainbow bridge. Old Saunton shows some ruins and background details with day and night cycles, promising beautiful scenery and varied landscapes, including underwater sections. This page highlights upcoming Sega Saturn games. Darkseed is a point-and-click adventure with art by H.R. Geiger, known for his biomechanical style in Alien SSTV anime Slam Dunk. A basketball simulation from Bandai, based on the anime, features polygon graphics and various play modes. Marriage is a life simulation game allowing players to experience post-marital life, featuring diverse characters and dual-user gameplay. New unveiling information reveals Gunbird for Saturn, and a game based on Lupin III, The Castle of Cagliostro. Additionally, there is a picture of a live event related to Rainbow Sentai Robin. Jikyu Parodius Da Deluxe Pack for the Sega Saturn is a must-have side-scrolling shooter. This guide offers a 10-day plan to master the game. Stage 1 focuses on power-ups, speed, and missile options, featuring penguin enemies and a large penguin boss. Stage 2 introduces chasing, injection-type enemies, and loop-shaped areas, requiring strategic positioning and option shots to defeat a laser-based boss. Stage 3 is a maze, with penguin statues and pumpkin enemies, culminating in a group of 8 bosses. Stage 4 is an aerial fortress, featuring pig enemies, terrain obstacles, and a sumo wrestler pig boss. The guide aims to prepare players for the game's depth, action, and boss encounters. This page continues the guide, now covering stages 5 through 10. Stage 5 features a boss shaped like a giant head in a ship. It's described as firing beams and needing to be taken down piece by piece. Stage 6 is a scrolling level with crystal ball enemies and penguin platforms, and it looks like you'll face a boss that shoots in multiple directions. Stage 7 brings in formations of 3 planes, and you'll need to watch out for bubble enemies and baby devil enemies. The boss here is a large, reclining female figure. Stage 8 takes place underwater, featuring crab and jellyfish enemies, culminating in a pufferfish boss, also known as Harisanbon, which is described as being weak at its blowhole. Stage 9 introduces fishbone enemies and zombie penguin enemies, with an eyeball ghost as the boss, apparently weak against fire. Finally, Stage 10 is described as similar to the Gradius series in structure, with moving penguin platforms, leading to a hand-shaped boss. This final boss seems to have a weak point on its fingertip. The bottom of the page mentions control types and player options. suggesting different control schemes and two-player capabilities. This page explores the history of the Parodius series, explaining that it's Konami's popular arcade shooting game and aims to highlight its position in gaming history. It discusses how the series inherited and restructured elements from previous games, focusing on the use of main and sub-weapons, power-up selections, and the appearance of large bosses at the end of stages. The page then presents a timeline starting from 1984, noting Scramble and Gradius as Konami's initial horizontal scrolling shooters, establishing core mechanics like capsule power-ups. It moves to 1985 with Gradius, mentioning a sandbox, Seagull Fortress, and Life Force. 1987 sees Life Force as a vertical scrolling shooter linked to Twinbee. Finally, 1988 is marked by Gradius 2 and Parodius. There are screenshots showcasing various games like Scramble, Gradius, Life Force, Gradius 2, and Parodius, with labels indicating they are MSX software versions. The page also touches upon the penguin theme prevalent in Parodius. The bottom section, titled Special Stage Creation, details a special stage within Parodius, emphasizing its unique elements like seven-sided dice, octopus enemies, and penguins. It describes features like the ending sequence, demo playback, staff roll, and a special stage start option after skipping the demo, allowing players to use Omamuzi. It highlights the challenging nature aimed at shooting game fans, and lists gameplay aspects within the special stage, including Moai head items, bubble-based attacks, 3D perspective shifts, and penguin characters, suggesting a varied and quirky stage design. This page delves deeper into the Parodius series, specifically highlighting Parodius Da. It mentions how the series evolved from Gradius-style gameplay, but with a comedic and surreal twist, noting its unique visual style and character designs are rooted in the MSX versions of Gradius. The page emphasizes Parodius Da as a key title in the series, showcasing screenshots of both the standard Parodius Da and the Jikyu Oshaberi Parodius Deluxe Pack on PlayStation and SEGA Saturn. It points out that the Deluxe Pack is a compilation of Parodius Da and Jikyu Oshaberi Parodius. There's a section explaining the concept prototype of Parodius, suggesting it originated from ideas branching from the MSX versions of Gradius 2. The bottom of the page features a special stage boss strategy guide, focusing on the boss Mecha Penguin in a special stage. It breaks down the boss fight into 5 steps, detailing attack patterns and strategies to defeat it, suggesting aiming for the head and utilizing different weapons. It seems like this special stage is designed to be particularly challenging and rewarding for dedicated shooting game fans. This page delves into the core of the Parodius series, asking, what is the Parodius spirit? It explains that the humor in Parodius comes from the contrast between the familiar Gradius gameplay and the over-the-top parody elements. The name itself is a blend of parody and Gradius, highlighting its origin as a comedic take on the serious shooter genre. The page emphasizes that while Parodius games have a cute, pastel-like visual style reminiscent of Twinbee, they go beyond simple cuteness, featuring elaborate stage designs and a nonsensical world. Screenshots showcase various Parodius games, emphasizing this unique visual approach. Furthermore, the page highlights the importance of music in the Parodius spirit, noting that the games use classic melodies and arrangements, particularly drawing from the MSX versions. It mentions that dedicated fans can discover rare BGM areas, showcasing the depth of the audio design. Finally, it touches on the Deluxe Pack, mentioning it includes drama and vocal tracks, along with crids and other bonus content for fans. This page continues the exploration of the Parodius series, diving into the concept of parodying other games. It emphasizes that Parodius isn't just about being cute, it actively incorporates elements from other famous games as a core part of its humor. The page showcases several screenshots labeled A2E from different Parodius titles. Image A seems to be from a shoot-'em-up stage with a boss. Image B shows classic shooter gameplay with power-ups and enemies. Image C looks like a puzzle or block-dropping section. Image D depicts a Japanese-themed stage with a ninja-like character. And Image E is set in an industrial or factory-like environment filled with penguins. These images visually demonstrate the diverse and often bizarre stages and characters in Parodius. The text talks about the attention to detail in Parodius, highlighting how elements like background scenery, enemy designs, and even sound effects are cleverly borrowed and twisted from other games, creating a rich tapestry of parody. It mentions details like cityscapes, storefront signs written in nonsensical characters, and even enemies resembling famous anime characters, adding layers of humor and surprise for players familiar with these references. Finally, there is a small column called Find Akiko-chan, featuring a character called Akiko-chan. This column seems to be a lighthearted feature possibly involving finding hidden elements or details within the game or magazine. And lastly, there's a Konami advert declaring, "We love shooting game," reinforcing their dedication to the genre that Parodius playfully parodies. This promotional page highlights the Sega Saturn version of Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu 95 Kaimakuban, Power Pros Baseball 95 Opening Edition. It positions the game as a significant upgrade for Saturn owners. The page details numerous enhancements labeled as change orders, including updated player data, Ichiro Suzuki's batting style, improved controls, realistic gameplay, enhanced sound, new cutscenes, faster loading, a challenging CPU, a meet cursor lock-on feature, smoother animations, a wider field, and a practice camp. The page features screenshots showcasing these improvements. A director's talk section emphasizes the development team's dedication to creating a fun baseball experience. A final section hints at the Saturn version being based on the SFC Power Pros 2 and teases future content, such as team arrangement and drafting, aiming to make it the definitive Power Pros title. Twin Bee Puzzle Dama for Sega Saturn is a port of the arcade puzzle game Taisen Puzzle Dama. The Saturn version closely mirrors the arcade and PlayStation versions, featuring original modes and characters. An exclusive Twin Bee mode adds a cute twist, incorporating characters like Twin Bee and Win Bee. Gameplay involves matching 3 or more falling tama of the same color to clear them and send small tama to your opponent. The Saturn version boasts lively endings, improved features, and options menu accessibility, not fully available on the PlayStation. It also includes adjustable falling speed for beginners. The game easily switches between the Twin Bee and original arcade versions. Developed by Konami, the game is targeted to be released in July for 5,800 yen. Enthusiastic fan comments and developer efforts promise a superior Saturn experience. It supports 2-player battles and is suitable for all ages. This page delves into Graduation 2 Neo Generation, a game that questions your aptitude as a high school teacher. It's a Saturn console remake focusing on guiding 5 unique and slightly challenging female students. As a rookie teacher, your goal is to help them graduate, but your guidance will significantly shape the finale. The Saturn version boasts enhanced graphics compared to its PC Engine origins, aiming for a polished console experience. The page introduces the 5 main students. Misako Ishibashi, described as excellent but prone to sulking. Mai Andanai, a gentle and mature girl. Sayori Inugami, an athletic tomboy. Ryo Tanya, a cheerful and innocent girl with a sweet tooth. And Cindy Sakuragi, a Brazilian returnee with a rebellious streak. Screenshots showcase various gameplay aspects, including weekend life guidance, weekday command, and weekday class scenes, hinting at a simulation-style game. It's mentioned that the screenshots are from a development build, emphasizing the graphical upgrades for the Saturn. The game is slated for an August release as an SLG and supports 1 player. Fire Pro Wrestling Gaiden. Blazing Tornado, the first Fire Pro game for the Sega Saturn, brings the arcade experience home. It's a dream come true for fans, featuring enhanced graphics and zoom capabilities, similar to the arcade version. The game offers a 2-player versus and team battle modes, with a roster of over 150 wrestlers. The Saturn version retains the core Fire Pro system, including the diagonal line attack, introduced in the arcade version. The game highlights features like crowd noise and improved wrestler performances. The game introduces the Neo Heroic Wrestlers, 8 new fighters from various countries, each with unique backgrounds and fighting styles. The developers express gratitude and promise a satisfying wrestling experience for its summer release. This page spotlights the game Heisei Tensai Bakabon Susum, Bakabon for the Sega Saturn, calling it a falling object puzzle game. That's more than just a trend, it's standard. The rules are simple. Use sandwich blocks vertically, horizontally, or even diagonally to clear them. It features familiar characters like Bakabon Papa, Unagi Inu, Rare no Ojisen, and Pistol no Omawara-sen. in competitive puzzle action. The page highlights chain reactions that can disrupt your opponent and character-specific actions with comical reactions and voices. They also emphasize the backgrounds in the game, boasting about the visual appeal. At 50% completion and planned for a June release with a price of 4,800 yen, the developers say it's a polished and enjoyable puzzle game that's worth checking out. The next page focuses on the mystery adventure game Dracula Detective D.D. Phantom of Lorelei. The feature is titled Mystery Adventures Undertaking Mr. Hideki Sonoda speaks. The interview dives into the new possibilities of polygon adventure games with Mr. Sonoda, who is described as a scenario writer. Sonoda explains that the game's concept started from wanting to create a light-touch adventure game, different from movie-like games, emphasizing character creation and the world of space-time detective D.D. him. He mentions the protagonist as a detective who has Dracula's blood, suggesting a darker, possibly comedic, tone when dealing with cases involving girls. Sonoda highlights the game's focus on dialogue and character interaction. He explains that while item searching exists, the core gameplay revolves around conversations and understanding the story. He states the game is progressing well, with polygon characters being a key element. The interview touches upon the potential of polygon adventure games as a new genre, comparing it to stage plays, where players are like the audience observing the stage. Sonoda believes the possibilities within this genre are significant. Regarding future developments for DD, he mentions the story's world is set up to allow travel to various time periods, implying a grand scale for the SF story. He hopes to expand the SF story genre beyond just games into novels and anime. He concludes by saying, the game aims to offer a thrilling and exciting SF experience in a beautiful world that can only be experienced in a story. This page highlights Super Real Mahjong PV for the SEGA Saturn, pitching it as an engaging mahjong game. It's described as a faithful arcade port that's easy to get into, even for beginners, thanks to its user-friendly difficulty settings. The game is targeted towards players 18 and over. The page mentions a one-chance mahjong game aspect, emphasizing its accessibility and the reward of seeing the female characters undress after winning rounds. It also provides details like scoring and rules, highlighting features that make it easier for new players to enjoy. The bottom half of the page introduces a character named Toyano Mizuki from High School Girl X-File, described as private information. It lists her personal details, such as birthday, birthplace, address, family, blood type, height, and measurements. Her preferences are also detailed, including favorite things like the ocean and Disneyland, dislikes like crowded trains, and hobbies like skiing and sports. The page presents two images of Mizuki, one clothed and one topless, emphasizing her as a central figure in the game and highlighting the game's suggestive content. This page introduces Fujiwara Aya and Hayasaka Akira, detailing their backgrounds and preferences within the Super Real Mahjong PV game. Aya, a second-year student, enjoys poetry, cooking, and literature, dislikes onions, and works at the library. She has a Dalmatian, Pico, enjoys mahjong, and wants brothers. Akira, also a second year, likes cats, scenic locations, and egg dishes, but dislikes crowds and specific foods. She has two cats, Mimi and Robin, and plays mahjong as the dealer. The extra section mentions a game over scenario at 0 player points, with a hint about focusing on smiling characters for a special outcome. The page concludes with gameplay options and corresponding character reactions, suggesting interactive choices influencing the game. This text details aspects of Super Real Mahjong PV, including a Q and A. The game's characters, Mizuki, Akira, and Rin, form a mahjong club at Tsukina Gakuen High School. The club initially wasn't official, but became so in the second year. The player character is a new recruit. Mizuki is outgoing, Akira calm, and Rin respects Mizuki. Tsukina Gakuen is a co-ed private school in Fujisawa, emphasizing well-rounded students and individuality. The SEGA Saturn version features improved graphics and voiceovers. An Aguri sequence shows character portraits with accompanying voice acting. Finally, the PV Original Art and Setting Material Collection is recommended for those seeking deeper immersion, showcasing character designs and illustrations. This page focuses on the new SEGA Saturn game, Magical Mahjong Expert Po Po Poemi, an undressing mahjong title from Imagineer. Following in the footsteps of Super Real Mahjong and PV, this game boasts character designs by Ano Kiyomizu, known for Makenu Majudu, and features lush anime-style graphics with over 1,000 animation frames. The game introduces a unique magic power system, which is used during mahjong matches, letting players strip their opponents. It's designed to be enjoyable even for mahjong novices, thanks to its story and gameplay system. We are promised more details in the next issue. We get a glimpse of 3 characters from Hell, named Haku, Hatsu, and Chund, who are described as mysterious enemies, and we are teased about the true identity of Mako. The page also covers a voice recording session held on March 30th for the game, highlighting voice actors Yuko Mizutani, Poemi, Naoko Matsui, Mako, and Tetsuya Iwanaga, Popo. Mizutani, known for Chibi Maruko-chan, mentions her character is a transforming battle girl, but she's making her cute. Matsui, from Silent Mobius, sees Mako as a classic strong female character, and enjoys playing a slightly naughty role. Iwanaga, from Battleship Girl Yuna, talks about his character Popo being a teaser to Poemi, and enjoys playing characters with unexpected sides. Finally, it's announced that Imagineer has another mahjong game in development titled Real Mahjong for hardcore mahjong fans, a 4-player experience. Ayrton Senna Personal Talk Message for the Future is a multimedia software release for the Sega Saturn, presented as a sports documentary. It offers an immersive experience of the Formula One legend Ayrton Senna through video, images, and interviews, aiming to attract a new user base for Sega's non-game software. The game, priced at 8,800 yen, explores Senna's life and career beyond racing, featuring over 1,000 photos and 150 minutes of interview footage with keyword search functionality. The game delves into Senna's thoughts and words, covering his career highlights and the tragic events of the 1994 San Marino GP. It includes Senna's profile, race statistics, and championship titles, highlighting his impactful driving style and charisma. The article suggests Senna's aggressive style, which created a dangerous scent, contributed to his hero status among Japanese fans, ultimately making him a beloved figure in Japan. This page, titled The Circle of Saturn, under the Voyager section, is all about users' voice and experiences. It's navigated by someone called Pana, and features several short stories and comments from Sega Saturn owners. One story talks about graduation and wanting a Saturn console. Another hilariously recounts a trip to a Sega store, where the clerk questioned their Sega fandom. There's a story focused on Virtua Fighter, highlighting the arcade experience transferring to the Saturn, and how it became a stress reliever. Another short anecdote is about being asked if they have money when wanting to buy a Saturn. At the bottom, sections like My Saturn, Gobu Saturn, Mega Saturn, and AKA Saturn seem to be collecting user comments and opinions categorized about the console. It's a page dedicated to showcasing what players are thinking and feeling about their Sega Saturns, a real user's perspective on the system. Kankan Gaku Gaku explores user sentiment surrounding the Mega Drive as the Saturn's release looms. Many users, primarily in their 20s, express fondness for the Mega Drive, valuing its established library and affordability. Some have embraced the Saturn's superior graphics, but still enjoy the Mega Drive, hoping for cross-compatibility and continued support. Users highlight the enduring appeal of classic Mega Drive titles. The page includes humorous anecdotes, such as a Virtua Fighter enthusiast injuring themselves while playing. Additionally, it showcases appreciation for Virtua Fighter's realistic character animations and fight sequences, particularly Akira's moves. The overall feeling is that the Mega Drive's relevance is not ending soon. This page showcases various user opinions and game reviews from readers. In the Straight Talk section, one user expresses concerns about the Sega Saturn's polygon graphics and color quality, comparing it unfavorably to Super Famicom and PlayStation. They mention shop staff saying pre-orders are not selling well. The Amazing Panzer Dragoon Play Diary is a glowing review for Panzer Dragoon. The player completed the game in one day, praising its graphics, music, and the impressive ending illustrations. They achieved a Sheikah of Chaos rank and mention using the Wizard Mode command, highlighting their enjoyment even on hard mode. There are also clothing store adverts for Freshman Suit Fair happening in Okayama Prefecture. The Month I Couldn't Help But Think section contains humorous user comments centered around gamepads. One comment is about the long search for the perfect gamepad. There are jokes about Sega Saturn and Mega Drive pads, button sizes, and finding them. Wrestling game moves are also mentioned in a humorous way, such as giant swing and body slams, alongside a comment that the splash move is not usable. Finally, Stardust Q&A poses a question for the August issue. Can games be enjoyed with just the game disc? It discusses the necessity of instruction manuals in an era where games can be fun even without them, and questions how much information manuals should ideally provide, seeking opinions from readers. This page features reader submissions and answers to questions. The Gallery of Saturn showcases fan art, including illustrations of Virtua Fighter, Daytona USA, Panzer Dragoon, Street Fighter, and a piece featuring the kanji for wind. The artists are fans of varying ages and locations. The Polygon Doctors Festival Riot answers reader questions. Currently, there are no plans to release SEGA Saturn cartridges, though it could happen. Playing audio CDs on the Saturn CD-ROM is discouraged due to potential equipment damage. This month's Troubled Kids features reader comments and illustrations referencing Wan Chai Connection, fighting games, wrestling moves, and a monster battling game called Duran Rante. One humorous comment compares a character to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Finally, a user jokingly wonders about the graphic limitations of combining a Saturn, Sony TV, and Mega Drive. This page showcases more reader contributions and continues sections from the previous page. The Game Tree Person section features stories from readers, including one about someone who initially didn't own a Saturn but was drawn to it by its unique game titles and now enjoys godly human meaning. Another reader shares a story about their friend buying a Mega Drive recently and being confused about what cassettes to buy, eventually choosing Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Spinball. Next Level Man is a comic strip about someone named Akira discovering the Saturn in a game center and becoming fascinated by its games. The Voyager information section details various segments of the magazine and encourages reader participation. It highlights sections like Earthling Circle for reader stories, Saturn Gallery for illustrations, and Polygon Doctors Riot answers for questions. They are also seeking reader submissions for Saturn goods and characters, Sega game stories, information about older gamers, and funny photos. The One Word from Earthlings section includes short reader comments. One talks about being moved by the smell of Don Taco's Mexican chili flavor, while another couple bought a Saturn at a game store together. Other comments mention playing Rent-A-Hero and being reminded of Monster World IV, and a humorous experience with Panzer Dragoon. Finally, there's a note about the 5th issue comment corner, referencing an article about arcade games in the STV Chronicles section. This page is part 4 of the Nude Nahard series, and it's all about revealing the secrets of the Sega Saturn through an interview with a hardware developer, Dr. K. The page presents questions from readers and Dr. K's insightful answers. One reader asks about the Saturn's twin CPU setup and what it practically enables. Dr. Esk explains that while the Saturn has two processors, it's not solely for boosting 3D power. Instead, it provides flexibility for programmers to distribute processing tasks effectively. Another reader inquires about the VDP, particularly VDP2, and its role. Dr. K clarifies that VDP2 is responsible for screen scrolling and visual effects like semi-transparency, allowing for layered graphics even with numerous sprites and polygons. VDP1, on the other hand, handles the drawing of sprites and polygons. He mentions that, although the Saturn wasn't initially designed solely for sprite and scroll-based games, it became capable of handling impressive 3D CG games like Virtua Fighter and Panzer Dragoon. The interview also touches upon display resolutions, noting that the Saturn supports various resolutions from 320 by 224 upwards, offering flexibility in combining different resolutions for sprites, polygons, and scrolling backgrounds. Dr. Egg explains the development team aimed to offer high performance at a reasonable cost, which influenced hardware choices. He mentions that the VDP decode function was considered, but ultimately not implemented in the Saturn due to cost and time constraints, becoming an optional feature instead. In an interview, Sega's Drive K, Kazuhiko Hamada, discusses the Sega Saturn. He confirms online multiplayer, like in Daytona USA, is technically possible but not currently planned due to cost and lack of perceived need. He emphasizes the Saturn's untapped potential for both 2D and 3D games, highlighting the MPEG card's role in enhancing versatility. Dr. K acknowledges that the console's full capabilities are still being realized and anticipates software improvements. He addresses concerns about Klydrom lifespan, stating it is similar to regular creds, and the Saturn 10 years slogan represents Sega's commitment and the console's lifecycle, potentially hinting at future models. The interview also briefly covers video CD and MPEG card functionality and encourages reader feedback for future columns. This page showcases reader-voted rankings for Mega Drive games in this magazine. The Odds Table A presents a top games chart, highlighting titles like Lunar Eternal Blue RPG, Afterburner Complete Shooting Game, and Space Harrier 2 action title as top contenders. It also has a This Month's Movement Direction table, focusing on the popularity of the Lunar games, noting Lunar 2 is still topping the charts, and Lunar Eye is also doing very well. Moving on to game spotlights, the Shooting Star for Mega Drive is praised for its Sonic-like speed and exciting gameplay, earning high scores. Echo, the Dolphin CD for Mega CD is recommended, particularly for those who enjoyed both Echo 1 and 2, highlighting its impressive CG visuals. Metalhead on the 32X is noted as a robot action game, though the reviewer sounds a bit less enthusiastic, stating it's decent, but with some control and visibility issues. Surging Aura is described as a unique RPG-style shooter, with impressive sound and visual ideas, but possibly confusing gameplay. Finally, the Lion King action game is recognized for its vibrant 3D-like visuals in a side-scrolling format, though it's mentioned to be quite challenging. In the off-track betting booth, Horse Voice section, readers share opinions, including one expressing disappointment with Sailor Moon game, another questioning Dragon Ball being consistently popular, while someone else enjoyed Tenjin's B Megaseka Plan shooting game. This page continues the reader-voted game rankings, presenting Odds Table B, which lists more highly rated games, including titles like Gauntlet, Tecmo Super Bowl, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Genres span from RPG and simulations to shooting and action titles. Odds Table C is titled Mania Heart-Throbbing Masterpieces. Buy? No buy? Suggesting a focus on games for hardcore fans. It features titles like NFL Football 94, NBA Jam, and Contra Hardcore, again across various genres such as sports, shooting, and action. Finally, Odds Table D is labeled Definitely a Hit this time? In it, there are hidden gems too, indicating a selection of games that are likely popular or perhaps underrated discoveries. This table includes games such as Landstalker, The Treasures of King Knoll, Thunder Force IV, and Super Fantasy Zone, with genres ranging from RPG and shooting to action titles. The page clarifies that these rankings are based on reader votes collected in March for the April issue and represent games Mega Drive users are currently interested in. This page presents game rankings, focusing on Mega Drive titles with lower scores, including games like R.B.IV. A review of Soul Fighter, Hardcore, also known as Burning Fighting Soul, praises its mature themes, fighting depth, and realistic character designs, though acknowledges its dated graphics. The text also covers a discussion of horse racing and Frine 1 games, with screenshots from a Formula 1 game, possibly Formula 1 World Championship. The author highlights the evolution of game graphics. Finally, the article includes sections on discounted horse racing games and strategies, promoting affordable titles like SLG Toku Toku and discussing the horse racing simulation Chariot Lock 2. This page is a reader's review corner focused on Mega Drive and Sega Saturn games, presenting rankings based on reader votes. It looks like a detailed score chart of games, ranking them with scores out of 10. Many games are listed with their genres and scores, and it seems to be comparing the current ranking to a previous ranking. There are a lot of familiar titles listed here, though many are in Japanese. For the Mega Drive, I can see titles like Outrun 2019, Dynamite Duke, and Cool Spot. For Saturn, there are games like Virtual Hide-a-Lide and Deep Fear. It appears to be a comprehensive reader poll of many games across both platforms, giving players a snapshot of what was popular and highly rated at the time, according to the magazine readers. It's quite a detailed breakdown, with many games included in this reader survey. This page presents reader rankings of gear games, showcasing 2 odds charts based on scores. RPGs dominate the top spots, with Royal Stone Door to the Open Time leading with a 9.0 score, praised for its strategic gameplay, accessible story, and dark themes. A spotlight also shines on Gyuwamburu ni Ku, a more challenging game with a 7.9 average, known for its deep gameplay and humorous elements, despite some control issues. Remmings, an action game, scores a 7.0, but is criticized for rough graphics, imprecise controls, and a confusing story. The page concludes by discussing current popular trends, highlighting Royal Stone and Alesti as top contenders in the gear gaming scene. This page is a price list from a game store specializing in Sega consoles and games. It covers a range of Sega systems including the Saturn, Mega CD2, Wonder Mega 2, and Mega Drive 2, along with the 32X add-on and Game Gear. For the Sega Saturn, they list various games categorized by genre, like shooting games such as Batsugun, Kingdom Grand Prix, and action games such as Radiant Silvergun and Layer Section. There are also RPGs and adventure games available at different prices. They also list titles for Mega CD2, Wonder Mega 2, and Mega Drive 2, including popular titles. The new corner section highlights various gear games and accessories. The 32X section lists a few games for the add-on console. There's a set deal, which is a bundle of Mega CD games. Finally, the page lists various peripherals and accessories for Sega consoles, including cables, controllers, and memory cards, alongside GG peripherals for Game Gear. It appears to be a comprehensive catalog of Sega products available at the store. This page talks about the Polygon Junkie 2 event, which was apparently the second time it's been held and was very popular. It mentions Techno Music by DJ Sato and says it was a great success. The event featured large screens showing impressive visuals, including footage of people in China practicing Kung Fu and 3D rendered Virtua Fighter characters. It sounds like it was a visually and musically stimulating event. Next, the page recommends After Hours Lunchbox, an event organized by Shun and Hal at Club Maruyama 59. They describe it as an after-hours party from midnight to noon, with various DJs playing different styles of music. It sounds like a long night of music for serious music fans. The Velocity Jamboree Chapter 2 section seems to be reviewing a compilation or event of the same name. It mentions Pulseman from Frogman Records and Japanese techno. There's also a section discussing music genres like techno, house, hip-hop, and enka, Japanese ballad. It humorously connects these genres to different types of drugs, suggesting techno is like LSD, house is like ecstasy, hip-hop is like marijuana, and enka is like sake. They seem to be using drug analogies to describe the feeling or vibe of each music genre in a playful way. The page also mentions Ishikawa Sayuri's Amagigoe in relation to enka music, suggesting it's the pinnacle of that genre. This journal features diverse content. DJ Shoji Mayfield chronicles his DJ activities, including gigs at events like Undercover, using Technics, turntables, and analog synths, and mentions the Polygon Junkie 2 event. Jun's Power Travel Diary details his fascination with unusual stories from China, particularly an encounter with an old woman in a temple. Poolside Sarah's Virtual Crash Volume 2 column focuses on Virtua Fighter, its 1994 popularity, and Sarah's personal dedication to the game. Sarah Class Things column introduces Manila, Philippines, highlighting local culture and social activities. Finally, Editorial Notes provides a behind-the-scenes look at the editor's life, detailing work, leisure activities, and financial expenses. This advertisement showcases strategy guides from SoftBank's The PlayStation Book Series. The featured guides offer comprehensive strategies for PlayStation games. The Tekken Perfect Guide, priced at 880 yen, promises complete capture strategy, with character images and screenshots. Also, for 880 yen, the Denjin Makai Perfect Guide provides strategies for the 3D fighting game, including techniques, data, and developer interviews. The Tower Perfect Guide, releasing in early May for 1,800 yen, focuses on the Windows version of the Macintosh hit Tower, offering techniques, new features, and an interview with the designer. All guides are a 5 size and published by the PlayStation Editorial Department except for the Tower Guide, which includes author and supervisor names. Publisher information for SoftBank Corporation is also provided. This page is an advertisement for an American-style yoga height increase method. It's all about how to grow taller, claiming you can gain 10 centimeters in a month by spending just 20 minutes a day watching a video and training. The page highlights the difference in height between two guys, one at 168 centimeters and the other who used the method reaching 185 centimeters. They emphasize that height isn't related to intelligence and showcase a success story of a 19-year-old named Akira Kajiwara, who apparently achieved his 185 centimeters goal with this method. The method is pitched as Dadna system, based and focused on growing taller from the feet. There are testimonials from people claiming to have gained significant height, like 14.6 centimeters, and expressing satisfaction with the results. They also mention the method is easy to understand and secretive, implying discretion. At the bottom, there's a call to action, encouraging readers to send in postcards for free information and materials from the Japan Healthcare Academy. It seems like a pretty classic late 90s health and fitness advertisement, promising amazing results. This high-tech column article, Open Information Treasure Box, examines the impending arrival of DVD technology and its potential impact on gaming, particularly focusing on the SEGA Saturn. The piece investigates whether DVD, with its superior storage capacity, is a genuine advancement over CD-ROMs. Considering factors like data transfer speeds, the author explores the feasibility of adapting existing consoles like the Saturn to utilize DVD, contemplating compatibility issues, and possible solutions like expansion cards or external DVD player peripherals. The article questions Sega's stance on DVD and compares it to competitors like PlayStation and 3D. The overall tone is cautiously optimistic, raising concerns about the practicalities of DVD adoption in gaming and whether manufacturers are prioritizing user experience during the transition. The article serves as a forward-thinking analysis of DVD's role in shaping the future of video games. Eccentric Game Paradise Big Fool King is a multifaceted look at quirky gaming. The Big Fool King section covers UFOs, with a database, quiz, and mentions of Roswell and a CD-ROM. Professor Asobin's Yakuza Gamer Training Course provides humorous gaming advice, referencing Virtual Hideline. Patsu Poet discusses funny game glitches, referencing Slime World. Soul Books examines game strategy guides, differentiating between guide types. This month's Fool Pose highlights a humorous pose from Kame vs. Daimyujin. Mongolian Wolf Pain Needle focuses on Mortal Kombat 2i character selection. Finally, Overseas New Baka Game reviews the Clay Fighter Super NES import version, highlighting its unique clay animation. The editor's afterward selections contains notes on arcade and cartridge games. This page is a mail-order advertisement from Creative Human for various games. They're pushing some good deals if you buy in sets of 3. For 980 yen, you can grab titles like Wonder Dog, Prince of Persia, Alien vs. Predator, Black Hole Assault, and Final Fight CD. Another set for 1380 yen includes Wolfchild, Mystic Defender, which is a cool shooter, Pro Football, Cool Pool, King Colossus, Harimanada, and Balljacks. If you want to spend a bit more at 2,480 yen for 3, you can get games like Ineketsu Taikensu Deiseku, Cosmic Fantasy S, Pro Yaku Fantasy League, PGA Tour Golf 2, and Yu Yu Hakusho Gaiden. There's also a section highlighting recommended new game information, pushing Perfect Port 2 games, and specifically mentioning Extreme Parodius, which they're calling a great arcade port, and Super Real Mahjong P5. They're really emphasizing that these are arcade-perfect conversions. Then there's a large list of other various software, with prices for SEGA Saturn games, Game Gear, Mega Drive, and even JVC games. Looking at the Saturn titles, you can see a real mix of genres and prices. They've got beat-em-ups, puzzle games, racing games, RPGs, and even Mahjong games. There's a huge selection here, covering a lot of the SEGA libraries. This document details the SEGA Saturn's software release schedule, primarily in 1995. The schedule is organized by month, starting with May and extending into 96. May saw releases like Extreme Parodius and Game no Tatsujin. June included titles such as Battle Monsters and X Japan, tentative title. July featured a busy schedule with games like Clockwork Knight and Fighters Megamix. August showcased 4-player Mahjong calculation graph and Steam Gear Mash. September listed The Seventh Guest 2. October introduced World Advanced Daikaisen and Sim City 2000. Additional this month releases included Virtua Hang-On, X-Men, and Street Fighter Movie. Autumn releases involve titles like Nobunaga's Ambition. The schedule also hints at future games in 95 and 96, such as Robot Battle RPG, representing a diverse range of genres for the console. This page continues the game release schedule, now looking at Mega Drive, Mega CD, Super 32X, and Megold. For Mega Drive, there's a list of games including Light Crusader, Warlock, Stargate, Surging Aura Miracle 9, Comic Zone, The Ooze, Pro Striker 95, Madu Monogatari 1, Nightmare Circus, Pengo, Judge Dredd, Zool's Ridiculously Huge Brain, and Alien Soldier 3. Many of these have release dates in July, August, and September, with genres spanning action, sports, and RPG. Moving to Mega CD, there's Shadowrun, Grand Zero Texas, and Samurai Spirits, with Samurai Spirits listed at 6,800 yen and categorized as an action title. Super 32X section lists games such as Mortal Kombat 2, Ultimate Fighting, Space Harrier, NFL Quarterback Club, 95, Virtua Fighter, Stella Assault, Periscode, and more, with release dates mostly in May and June. Genres here are action, sports, and shooting. Finally, the Megold section includes titles like Goku, Myst, Legacy, UFO, and 3D Virtual Tour. These are listed as educational and simulation genres, and mostly slated for release in June and later. There's also a section called Each Title Change Check, discussing schedule updates. It mentions delays to some games, like Saturn Pad, which was pushed back to May 26th. It talks about name changes for some titles, and mentions upcoming media player software for movie CD, photo CD, and electronic books. This document details upcoming Game Gear and SEGA Saturn software. The Game Gear schedule lists games from May to November, including re-releases and new titles across various genres. The Satamaga editorial department check highlights a surge of new Saturn software, with the Tokyo Toy Show on June 1st offering more information, particularly on 3D robot games. Popular titles include Darius Gaiden Extra Edition and Puyo Puyo 2, and they tease Virtua Cop 2 and an unannounced game. The SoftMaker information section features developer updates. Hudson is working on Tenchi Muyo, Otenki Pyon Pyon 4th Diary. Capcom is developing a Saturn version of Street Fighter. Compile is progressing with Puyo Puyo 2. Sunsoft is working on Myst 2 for Christmas. Other developers, including Seta, Imagineer, Nexaat, Mizuki, General Entertainment, Riverhill Soft, Technosoft, and Victor Entertainment, are also developing and porting various titles and focusing on events and digital distribution. This SEGA Saturn magazine page features a reader questionnaire. Instructions detail how to complete it, emphasizing clarity and numerical formatting. The survey gathers demographic data, gender, age, occupation, Saturn software ownership, and explores reader preferences, including favorite game magazines, TV genres, and current/planned SEGA Saturn hardware/software ownership. Reference tables list the hardware, Saturn v Saturn, etc., and a vast software library, showcasing popular titles like Panzer Dragoon Zwei and Virtua Fighter 2. The page concludes with a list of the magazine's articles, covering game reviews, strategies, and previews, accompanied by an illustration. This page is all about SEGA Saturn's first in-house baseball game, Greatest 9. It's hyped as a realistic baseball experience, boasting improved graphics compared to previous baseball games, and focusing on delivering a true-to-life feel. The reviewer seems impressed, noting the smooth animation and realistic play-by-play commentary. The page then dives into the game's 8 different modes. There's an open game mode for quick matches against the computer or another player. Tournament mode allows for tournaments from 4 to 12 teams. Pennant race mode lets you play through a full season, tracking stats and records. All-Star Game mode lets you create dream teams from League All-Stars. For something different, there's an HR contest focused on home runs. Team Edit mode gives you the ability to customize 2 original teams, tweaking player abilities. Database mode is for stat fanatics. allowing you to view comprehensive player and season data with even face photos. Finally, the Options mode lets you adjust various game settings, like innings and stadium details. A cool feature highlighted is the Announce mode, which promises realistic and varied play-by-play commentary. It mentions different regional dialects for the announcers, including Kansai, Nagoya, Tokyo, and Hiroshima accents, adding another layer of authenticity. Overall, the page paints Greatest 9 as a feature-rich and realistic baseball game, aiming to please both newcomers and hardcore baseball fans. This page introduces Metal Fighter Miku for the Sega Saturn, billing it as a beautiful girl star Pretty Miku game, and marking her Saturn debut as imminent. It's an ADV and simulation battle game described as a sequel to the TV anime series. The developers are emphasizing the high-quality animation, aiming to recreate the anime's look and feel in the game's battle scenes. The game's structure is explained as having 6 chapters, each with opening and ending sequences. Gameplay is divided into adventure and simulation battle sections. The adventure parts involve conversations and training, progressing the story, while the simulation battles are where you enter Neo-Pro wrestling matches. Your actions in the adventure sections influence your parameters for the battles. The adventure part of the game promises branching storylines, meaning your choices will affect who you meet and how the story unfolds. It sounds like character interactions and relationships are key, with conversations mirroring the anime's atmosphere. The simulation battle part is all about animated special moves, showcased with dynamic in-game screenshots. It mentions powerful animation and special move cues during battles. They even highlight that all voice acting is by the original anime cast, adding to the authenticity. It also mentions the game is 75% complete and is scheduled for release in August. The Metal Fighter Miku universe expands with the introduction of Lion's Den, a new organization seeking wrestling dominance in Neo-Pro. Led by the enigmatic Miss Z, they aim to become the top wrestling power. The group features coach Izuki Hazumi, along with wrestlers Cutie Candy, Suspiria Yumiko, Fear, Dessler Dent, and the returning Pretty Miku. Dr. Jigoku Dani, a mad scientist, specializes in enhancing wrestlers' abilities through human modification. Additionally, a special section reveals the game's animation style. Unlike other systems, Metal Fighter Miku utilizes all hand-drawn animation, inspired by TV animation, for a high-quality visual experience. Mr. Toendo Masaichiro from Miku Company emphasizes their dedication to achieving an authentic anime feel, even redrawing scenes to perfect the animation. This page is all about the game expert for the Sega Saturn, and they are really pushing the idea that the computer AI in this game is super intelligent. It's a collection of 4 classic board games: Shogi, Mahjong, Othello, and Gomoku. You can choose from 3 different modes: free battle for casual play, a training mode to hone your skills, and a world mode where you can challenge top-level computer opponents. They're recommending beginners start with the free battle mode to get used to the games, especially if you're not familiar with strategy games like Shogi or Mahjong. The page then dives into Mahjong specifically, calling it a game of luck and skill. They suggest that to become an expert, you need to understand the odds and manage your hand well. It even mentions a password system, so you can save your game progress. Apparently, Game Expert is from Sunsoft and was set to launch on May 26th. It supports 2 players and mouse control. The advert highlights its 100% completion status and quotes someone saying it's deep content, suggesting it's a really comprehensive package for board game fans. The next page continues talking about Game Expert and highlights that human players can achieve a high level in the Mahjong game within it. It then moves on to discuss the other games included, stating, Shogi, Othello, Gomoku, they are not easy either, implying these games also have challenging computer opponents. For Shogi, it recommends using the free battle mode to practice and learn Joseki, standard opening moves, against the computer AI. It mentions even in this mode, the AI is strong enough to teach you good strategies. Regarding Othello and Gomoku, it reiterates the importance of learning Joseki for these games too. For Othello, it advises beginners to focus on corner pieces and maximizing their colored pieces on the board. In Gomoku, the key is to block your opponent and create your own lines of 5. The page concludes by saying, the computer in Game Expert is challenging, and losing can be frustrating, but it's a great way to improve your skills in these classic board games. It reinforces that Game Expert is designed to help players truly master these games. This page introduces Grand Chaser, a racing game where boosting is key to victory. The game is set in a futuristic world with floating vehicles, emphasizing speed and boost techniques over braking. The opening stage is described as a straight course, highlighting the fast-paced, no-break gameplay. The page details the Terra course, explaining it's designed as a beginner-friendly stage in a natural setting, good for learning the game. It features wide roads and sections with water, giving a boat race feel, and even tunnels that are safe zones. The game has a total of 11 courses, and this page showcases the first 2. There are 5 types of vehicles called sleds in the game, each with different characteristics. These are Terra type, a standard type suitable for story mode, allowing for customization of steering and engine. Almayon type, specializes in cornering stability and is produced in Almayon. Drum type, focuses on acceleration and performs well on straight courses. Caradacea type, excels in overall performance and cornering. Celiban type, a stable sled with a smaller size, made in Celiban. The reviewer's comments suggest that Grand Chaser has a unique racing feel compared to typical games, especially with its boost mechanic and drifting focus. They encourage players to experiment with boosting around hairpin curves. Grand Chaser features 6 distinct race courses with varying difficulties. The Earth course offers a peaceful, obstacle-free beginner experience. The Ice Planet presents slippery conditions with ice pillars. The Rock Planet is rugged with falling rocks. The Gas Planet features courses floating on gas and dragon lightning. The Volcano Planet brings ash and eruptions, hindering visibility. The Mechanical Satellite, the final stage, is shrouded in mystery and offers the ultimate challenge. The game's story mode, where players control Krei Chao, involves racing through these planets amidst a narrative of planetary power struggles. Starting on Earth, players progress through each round, aiming for the championship, with shadowy figures supporting them. One vehicle type prioritizes speed, but lacks acceleration. The next page in this RPG special feature focuses on upcoming Saturn role-playing games. It highlights Far East of Eden, Apocalypse 1-5, positioned as the first Saturn entry in the series, and a side story to the main Far East of Eden games set in the American West. Next up is Shining Wisdom, described as an action RPG in the Shining series. It seems to feature a field map system and promises a fresh concept for the series. Then there's Riglord Saga, boasting 3D graphics. The article mentions its appeal lies in its Riglord Saga-ness, emphasizing magic and techniques, and a spark system. The article also broadly discusses Saturn RPGs, noting that while Virtual Highlight is out, true Saturn RPGs are just beginning to arrive. There's a sense of anticipation for more substantial titles after summer, highlighting the graphical capabilities and diverse styles of Saturn RPGs. They mention titles showcased at the Tokyo Toy Show in June as being noteworthy. Finally, there's a mention of Yaman, a simulation RPG described as a Saturn port of Fida, the Emblem of Justice, which was originally released on Super Famicom the previous October and is slated for a fall release on Saturn. This page in the RPG special dives into 3 exciting titles for the Saturn. First up is Blue Seed, Kushinada Secret Legend, an RPG described as a strategy RPG hybrid, emphasizing character development and multi-endings. They're really pushing the character design by Tamaki Miyano, known for Shining Force, and highlighting new animation for special moves and battle scenes, leveraging the Saturn's power. Plus, expect a movie, opening and ending, and voice acting. Next we have Magic Knight Rayearth. It's shown with a screenshot hinting at an anime style. Finally, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner is profiled as a demon summoning master game, introducing a new hero to the series. They're emphasizing the 3D dungeons rendered in polygons and textures, aiming for a realism previously unseen in the series. The page also features a game studio section, talking about their work on a Sega adventure game, a tentative title at this point. They discuss the scenario and visual aspects, particularly focusing on the 3D dragon modeling, with developers Endo and Shibata mentioning the game's 17th century European setting and fantasy elements. They are still working on nailing down the final title, aiming to decide it soon. This page is all about the Far East of Eden series, and features an interview with producer Hiroi Oji. He talks about the latest installment, Far East of Eden Gaiden, the 4th apocalypse for the Saturn, saying it embodies a Western view of the East, and vice versa. He mentions wanting to incorporate American elements like Hollywood and Western dramas, even referencing the 1800s and the Wild West as influences. He explains the title, The Fourth Apocalypse, relates to Christian mythology, but is being adapted in a Far East of Eden style. There are also sections dedicated to 2 other Far East of Eden games. Far East of Eden 2-1, Namida for PCFX, is described as the final chapter in the PC Engine lineage, emphasizing visual scenes and character development, promising familiar characters from the series. Far East of Eden 0 for the Super Famicom is presented as an entry point for newcomers, designed to be accessible to younger players, with a focus on a user-friendly map system and compelling character interactions. It's mentioned that, while visually approachable, the story is deep and engaging, aiming for a different kind of RPG experience compared to the previous titles, with a smaller development team. This page continues the feature on the Far East of Eden series, still focusing on Far East of Eden Gaiden, the Fourth Apocalypse for the Sega Saturn. The interview with Hiroi Oji continues, where he elaborates on the game's horror and Western themes, emphasizing how the Saturn's capabilities allow for a different kind of presentation compared to older consoles. He talks about wanting to create a horror touch, and how CG and animation can enhance the atmosphere. He mentions incorporating elements of suspense and surprise in battles, like showing the enemy's perspective before a fight. At the bottom, there's a section introducing key characters for Far East of Eden Gaiden, the Fourth Apocalypse. We have Raishin, described as a demon hunter who uses both sword and gun, a central figure like Han Solo or Luke Skywalker, and named after Lightning Sun. Then there's Rei-shun, the most Japanese-like character, embodying Bushido spirit and seen as the main character. Yumi is described as a heroine, a Scottish immigrant with an important role in the story, and her name implies she is of Japanese and Western mixed heritage. Lastly, there's a Hayane, who seems to have a connection to the Native American Indian setting created by Hiroi Oji, with elements of the Wild West narrative. This page introduces Shining Wisdom as a highly anticipated new action RPG for the Sega Saturn. It's described as a game aiming to push the boundaries of action RPGs. The feature highlights 5 key points that set Shining Wisdom apart. Firstly, it emphasizes that all characters in the game, from main characters to townspeople and monsters, are created using CG rendering. This allows for incredibly smooth character animation, a step beyond traditional dot-based graphics. The page even shows wireframe models and rendered examples of characters like the king, queen, and the protagonist to illustrate this point. Secondly, Shining Wisdom boasts 8-directional scrolling, a first for top-down action RPGs. Not only does the screen scroll in 8 directions, but the character sprites also have 8 different directional patterns, further enhancing smooth movement and animations. Thirdly, the game uses a detailed animation system where each action pattern, like swinging a sword or crouching, is broken down into 16 individual animation frames. This level of detail extends to visual changes based on equipment, making for a visually engaging experience. They even mention the main character has over 10,000 animation patterns in total. The page includes screenshots demonstrating these features, showing examples of CG-rendered characters and gameplay with 8-directional scrolling. It positions Shining Wisdom as a technically impressive and visually advanced action RPG for the Sega Saturn. Shining Wisdom features a unique consecutive hit system where repeated button presses enhance character speed, power, and jump distance in up to 5 stages. This system fuels both attacks and magic, with MP used to power up hits, adding strategic depth. Visual cues, including a gauge and sprite changes, indicate hit levels. The game innovatively integrates magic and items with the hit system. Consecutive hits power up spells and enhance item effects. This creates a vast array of combinations, encouraging experimentation even after completing the main story. Producer Mr. Takahashi explains that the game was designed for accessible action RPG gameplay, using simple inputs, inspired by the feeling of rapid button presses. Shining Wisdom aims to be enjoyable for both novice and experienced players through mastery of its core system. This page is all about Riglord Saga, showcasing it as the next generation of RPGs with everything rendered in 3D. The article emphasizes how RPGs are evolving into 3Ds, and Riglord Saga is presented as a prime example of this advancement. They talk about how going 3D enhances the visual experience in gameplay compared to older 2D RPGs. We get a glimpse of the game through screenshots, showing off the save/load screen featuring the three sisters who also appear in the opening, the world map, and in-game shops for weapons and items. The shop system uses 3D message boxes and inventory screens for a modern feel. The story seems to be set in a world that blends Eastern and Western influences, focusing on Queensland, which is under threat from Genshusai from the east. The Queen is said to possess unknown Eastern ninja techniques. The main quest in the game is to defeat Genshusai and bring peace back to the land. The game was about 65% complete at the time of this article, and was slated for a July release, priced at 5,800 yen. Overall, the page is very enthusiastic about the 3D revolution in RPGs, and positions Riglord Saga as a leading title in this new wave. This page delves deeper into Riglord Saga, specifically focusing on the game's skill system, which they call quite profound. It explains how characters learn skills in the game. Experience is gained not just for basic stats like HP and MP, but also for individual skills as you use them. As you level up skills by using them in combat, you'll eventually discover new, more advanced skills related to those you've been using. This discovery aspect is a key feature, encouraging players to experiment and develop their characters strategically. The article mentions that skills are broadly categorized into weapon skills, like swordsmanship, and magic skills. Characters learn skills independently, and upon reaching certain skill levels, they can teach these skills to other party members. However, there's a catch. If the character being taught has a much lower skill level in that area, they won't be able to learn the skill effectively, adding a layer of depth to skill management and party building. Screenshots illustrate the skill learning process and skill menus. One shows a character named Akibi-chan learning a level 2 skill called Inazuma Shot, lightning shot. Another set of screenshots shows the skill teaching interface, explaining that you can teach skills to party members, but it might not be possible if their skill level is too low. The reviewer seems to be emphasizing the strategic depth of the skill system, encouraging players to think carefully about skill development and character roles within their party. This page continues the Riglord Saga coverage, diving into the skills and magic available to the main characters. It highlights 7 key characters and their abilities, showcasing a table that neatly breaks down skill types such as swordsmanship, attack magic, divine magic, special magic, ninjutsu, body arts, archery, and tactics, along with the initial skill names and which characters can use them. For example, Arthur starts with strike in swordsmanship and fireball in attack magic, while Elise uses healing and holy cure for divine magic. The page also gives us a closer look at Arthur and Elise with character art and descriptions. Arthur is described as a prince who excels in swordsmanship and attack magic, with skills leveling up. Elise is a shrine maiden who grew up with Arthur, specializing in divine magic for healing, which is crucial in battles. Screenshots illustrate skills like fireball and ad strike and freezing, showing how they look in action and how they can be leveled up to gain more powerful versions, such as crash and counter for swordsmanship skills, and freezing and counter for magic skills. There's also a focus on healing magic, showing reverse cure and mega healing, emphasizing the support roles in the game. Overall, it's giving players a good overview of the combat system and character specializations in Riglord Saga. This page continues the Riglord Saga feature, introducing 2 more characters, Musashi and Akibi. Musashi is described as a ninja warrior from the east, part of Genusai's group, specializing in swordsmanship and body arts. His initial skills include slash hand sword strike and strike, which can be upgraded to harmony, shadow slash, hard punch, and combo kick. Akibi, depicted with a cute, animal-like design, is presented as a divine spirit who has a master-servant relationship with Musashi. She excels in archery and special magic. Her starting skills are arrow technique, protection shield, and earth mole, which can be enhanced to lightning shot, spiral arrow, sleep, small mole, and counter. The page uses screenshots to show some of these skills in action, like slash, strike, harmony, hard punch, combo kick, earth mole, and lightning shot, giving a visual representation of how they look during gameplay. It mentions that Akibi's special magic can be very advantageous in battle. This page continues the character introductions for Riglord Saga Part 2, this time featuring Hector and Shishimar. Hector is an archer, described as a veteran warrior, and his skills include arrow shot, which upgrades to lightning shot, and spiral arrow. Shishimar, in contrast, is a spear-wielding warrior from the east who serves Genusai. His skills start with thrust and evolve into gale wheel and painful thrust. The page also highlights a character called Genusai, labeling him as the root of all evil, suggesting he's a key antagonist in the game. Like the previous page, there are skill tables for Hector and Shishimar, showcasing their initial and upgraded abilities, focusing on attack and defense skills, alongside in-game screenshots that illustrate some of these skills in action. This page is all about Magic Knight Rayearth and its exciting new features. A key highlight is the innovative picture diary system, which enhances the fun. Instead of just saving, the game lets you create a visual diary of your adventures, like drawing pictures of what happened. The review emphasizes that both the fields and dungeons in the game are visually stunning. There's also a section that delves into the game's systems with insider information, including a re-interview with the developers of Magic Knight Rayearth. The interview features Rieko Kodama, who talks about aspects like item usage and in-game secrets. The page also shows the game is about 60% complete and scheduled to be released by SEGA in August for 4,800 yen. You can also see artwork of the main characters and screenshots that showcase the gameplay and the unique picture diary feature. Overall, the page is building hype for Magic Knight Rayearth, focusing on its unique gameplay systems and beautiful visuals. Blue Seed, Strange Tale of Kishin Realm, nearing 90% completion, is set for a June release by SEGA, priced at 5,800 yen. This preview focuses on the game's opening, drawing from episodes 13 and 14 of the anime. The game introduces key characters like the Kurenai Momiji team and an original character, Kaoruko. Episode 1, in Shizuoka, features investigations at the Tudai ruins, encounters with a boss monster wielding black Kagura balls, and the introduction of the card battle system. Players can strategically pre-select cards for the first turn. Episode 2 shifts to Nikko, with Kuyo, Sakura, and Yao Hachiju. They investigate mysterious events, aided by Momotaro, and pursue an origami linked to the Kishin clan. Screenshots throughout showcase battles, dialogue, and encounters with various enemies. This page is all about diving deeper into the game. It seems we're looking at a feature focused on a specific part of the game, likely the Yuno arc of the third episode. The article highlights the character Kasumi, who's finally getting into the action, and it asks about her performance in gameplay. We get introduced to new enemies called the Black Turtle Heavenly Kings. Sounds pretty serious. The screenshots show different aspects of gameplay, like exploring areas, battles, and even a game over screen, which they've titled If You Lose. It looks like bosses are tough, and you really need to be strategic to win. Otherwise, you'll be seeing that game over screen. There's a section on computers in the game called Computers Are Also Greatly Successful. Apparently, computers in the game are crucial for gathering information and are packed with data. One computer is specifically mentioned, the travel system, used for moving around the game world. It also seems computers can give you battle cards and even do fortune telling. The article suggests remembering to use these computer features effectively. Overall, this page is giving us a good look at a specific part of the game, introducing new characters and enemies, and highlighting some key gameplay mechanics, like using computers for information and strategic advantages in battles. This page dives into the concept of a cool hero image as a key theme in Devil Summoner. It features interviews with Okada Koichi, the general director, and Kaneko Kazuma, the art director, who give us some insights into the game's development. Okada mentions that the scenario is in its final stages, focusing on making it substantial. He talks about aiming for a cool hero protagonist, emphasizing scenario and story. He also mentions the battles are in 3D polygon graphics, but they are prioritizing strategy and tactical elements over just flashy visuals. Kaneko discusses the handy computer, highlighting that it's not just a tool for information gathering, but also a weapon. He mentions inspiration from Star Wars lightsabers in terms of its hero image. The handy computer acts as a vital tool for devil summoners, used for communication, demon summoning, and various other roles within the game. We can see images of this handy computer, which looks like a futuristic device, possibly a gun or weapon of sorts. The game is stated to be 30% complete and is planned for release around the end of the year, though the price is still to be determined. The developers seem focused on creating a compelling hero and a strategically deep gameplay experience in Devil Summoner. This page appears to be the start of a software guide section within the SEGA Saturn magazine. It's quite visually striking with a bright blue and red background and a yellow racing car dominating the top half. The car has Car X written on it and the number 59, giving it a vibrant arcade racer feel. The large text proclaims this is the SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide, so it's clearly going to be a rundown of games available for the system. The text next to it mentions that it's a thorough guide to carefully selected SEGA Saturn software released after launch. Below the main title, it specifically calls out Daytona USA, mentioning it includes complete cheat codes on page 104, and that strong software is gathered here. It also lists 3 games with page numbers: Daytona USA, Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, and Panzer Dragoon, suggesting these will be featured in this guide section. It looks like this section will cover a mix of genres from racing to strategy and shooters, showcasing the breadth of the SEGA Saturn's game library. This page is all about a hidden secret in Daytona USA. You can actually race as a horse. It's called Daytona Uma, which literally means Daytona horse, and this article is dedicated to showing it off. Apparently, this horse character was rumored, and now it's confirmed and detailed here. The page highlights how to unlock it and reveals its stats. It's an automatic transmission vehicle with a rating for acceleration, reaching a top speed of 305 km per hour, but only a C for grip. There are 3 camera views to choose from when playing as the horse, and the article specifically points out viewpoints VR3 and VR4, suggesting they offer amusing perspectives of the horse in action. The rolling start with the horse is described as hilarious, complete with special sound effects and music that fits the absurdity of a horse racing cars. A key tip mentioned is that the horse is surprisingly effective on turf or grass areas of the track, as it doesn't lose speed there. Overall, the page is showcasing this fun and unexpected element in Daytona USA, focusing on the humor and novelty of racing a horse. This guide explores the 10 car types in Daytona USA's Saturn mode, highlighting the strengths and weaknesses of each. Unlocking these cars requires a 3rd place finish or better. The default red car mirrors the arcade version, offering balanced performance. The blue car is beginner-friendly, excelling in grip and acceleration. The green car prioritizes speed, achieving high acceleration and top speed, but suffers on tight turns. Variations of the Daytona car in different colors, like yellow and red, manual, 325 km per hour, blue and red, automatic, 315 km per hour, and red, manual, 315 km per hour, offer different driving experiences. The pink Daytona tops the speed charts at 329 km per hour, but its grip is limited. The default cars are well-rounded, while the colored Daytonas add variety and challenge. Consistent high rankings unlock progressively more difficult variations. This SEGA Saturn magazine page details specific Daytona USA car characteristics. The black Daytona, an automatic with B grip, is designed for intermediate players, excelling at wall riding. The orange Daytona, manual with B grip, is geared towards time attacks. The blue Daytona, automatic with B grip, emphasizes high speed and acceleration, but with weaker grip, making it drift-prone. Finally, the yellow Daytona, manual with B grip, is suited for high-speed cornering. Additionally, a Daytona Birth Secret story column discusses the arcade game's development and its transition to the Saturn, featuring developer insights. This page is all about the time attack and replay mode in Daytona USA on the SEGA Saturn, suggesting players use the replay to study their races and improve. It highlights the newly implemented overhead camera view in replay mode, letting players analyze their driving lines from above. The article explains how to access the replay after a time attack race and change viewpoints during playback. There's also a section detailing the Daytona AM2 Research Official Time Attack Battle midterm results. Apparently, many people applied, exceeding expectations. The initial phase used reverse mirror and mirror modes. They even banned a pit body hitting bug. A table of midterm rankings up to April 15th is included, listing player names and their times. But we can skip this list. Finally, a roundtable talk section features reviewers discussing the replay feature. They seem impressed with the overhead view and how it helps analyze driving. They talk about the depth it adds to time attack, allowing players to really fine-tune their performance. They mention enjoying drifting and the challenge of shaving off even small amounts of time, highlighting techniques like braking and shifting. They conclude by saying the Saturn version has great replay functionality and express their continued enjoyment of Daytona, USA. This page is all about the military advisor role in Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV on the SEGA Saturn. It dives into how to best utilize military advisors to get ahead in the game. To become a military advisor, you need high stats in both politics and intelligence, specifically 80+ politics and 90+ intelligence. Once you meet these requirements and are appointed by your lord, you're in business. The page explains that military advisors are masters of fire tactics. They can use fire attack and firestorm strategies, especially effective if you have units specialized in fire attacks. It highlights that in Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, military advisors are crucial on the battlefield, not just in political matters as in previous games. There are two main types of military advisors discussed: subordinate advisor and general. The subordinate advisor seems to be more focused on political and diplomatic actions, while the general type is for military actions. To become a general advisor, you need a combined leadership and combat stat of 150 or more, and famous generals like Zhuge Liang and Zhao Yu are mentioned as examples who can fill this role. Lastly, there's a section promoting the 32X version of Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, claiming it's superior to the Saturn version. It mentions faster processing and improved graphics compared to the Saturn version, making gameplay smoother and visually better. They suggest that if you have a 32X, this is the version to get. Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV categorizes military advisors for strategic use. Domestic and diplomacy types excel in non-combat roles like intelligence, diplomacy, and internal affairs, crucial for negotiations and governance. Examples include Lu Su. All-rounders are versatile, effective in both combat and development, handling tasks like land and resource management. The top tier, Aluk Almighty types, are the most powerful, best used as frontline commanders and placed with the Lord. Lu Xun and Zhao Yu are examples. The page also introduces the lightning strike strategy, a powerful but risky attack requiring rain and carrying a risk of friendly fire. Each advisor type includes utilization tips and applicable officer lists. This page highlights 4 secret techniques for Panzer Dragoon on the SEGA Saturn. Continuing from previous articles about hidden game features, this time it introduces even more interesting tricks. First up is Dragon-Only Play, where Kyle disappears, and you play solely as the dragon. To unlock this mode, you need to clear all stages in easy mode at 100%, and then input the command at the title screen. Left, left, right, right, up, up, down, down, L, and R. Apparently, in this mode, you can't use shots, only lasers, and around 10 minutes into the stage, the boss will change to have 4 faces. Next is Lightning Wizard mode, a super fast mode that goes way beyond the normal play speed. It's mentioned that clearing hard mode reveals the secret, and to activate it, you input LR, LR, right, up, down, up, left, right at the title screen. This mode is described as incredibly fast and might make ordinary play feel slow. Finally, there's Always Rolling Possible mode. Normally, rolling is limited to low health situations, but this mode lets you roll anytime, anywhere. Although rolling isn't always practical, it's suggested it can be fun and useful in a pinch. The command for this mode is up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right at the title screen. The page teases that there are still more secrets to be discovered in Panzer Dragoon, emphasizing the importance of shooting skills in the game. This SEGA Saturn Soft Review section features reviews from the Lady Users Group, the High Rollers, and guest game writers. The Lady Users reviewed Adios Ayrton, a personal talk message software about Ayrton Senna, giving it a 6/10 for its emotional focus. They scored Fantastic Parodius Deluxe Pack, a 7/10, appreciating its cute and humorous elements. The High Rollers also reviewed Adios Ayrton, giving it a 6/10, noting its documentary style. They also reviewed Shinkan Senkari, a puzzle game, scoring it a 6/10, wishing for more complexity. Guest game writers scored Adios Ayrton, a 7/10. They also reviewed Moving Degree is More Than Full Marks, awarding it an 8/10, praising its immersive feel, sound, content, and nostalgic quality, deeming it a must-have. This page presents reviews for 4 SEGA Saturn games. First up is Grand Chaser, where the lady users found the machine control difficult and the straight courses limited, giving it a score of 4 out of 10. The high rollers compared it to FLA Zero, liking the graphics but feeling it lacked depth, also scoring it a 4. Guest writers enjoyed the floating feeling and drifting, but found the course visuals unclear and messy, awarding it a 6 out of 10. Next is Complete Pro Baseball Greatest 9, where the lady users liked the camera angles and realistic feel, but were bothered by the dialogue and lack of depth, scoring it a 6. The high rollers praised the camera work, game tempo, and realism, giving it a 7. Reviewer Current Hayashi praised the controls, various modes, realism, and data updates, scoring it a 6. Moving on to Super Real Mahjong P5, the lady users enjoyed the undressing element, graphics, and characters, giving it an 8 out of 10. The high rollers liked the girl's long hair, the various entries in the series, and illustrations, also scoring it an 8. Current Hayashi saw it as a deep puzzle game, with good gameplay and difficulty, also giving it an 8. Finally, Inchiki Mahjong is reviewed by Current Hayashi, who also sees Mahjong as a puzzle game and praises its depth and balanced difficulty, awarding it an 8 out of 10 as well. This page is from the SEGA AM2 R&D Department No. 2 Express Neo's Corner and focuses on Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn. It's a scoop piece previewing the game, subtitled New OS Demo Thorough Analysis, and highlights Pi's movement in 1/60th of a second motion. The article mentions that previous month's screenshots caused a big reaction. This new OS demo of Virtua Fighter 2 on Saturn aims to recreate the arcade version's gameplay, including the 1/60th second animation, even for character expressions, which is said to be beyond arcade-level quality, with a 704 by 480 resolution. They had previewed it previously. The article further explains that concerns about a perfect port from the arcade to Saturn for Virtua Fighter 2 are being addressed. They are showcasing the new OCase demo and will have a complete analysis, including an interview with Okachi, the chief programmer. The text describes how the movements of Pain are captured in a sequence of images, showing her dynamic motions at 1/60th of a second. It seems they are emphasizing the smooth animation and visual fidelity of the Saturn version. This page continues. The SEGA AM2 R&D Department No. 2 Express Neo coverage of Virtua Fighter 2 for the SEGA Saturn. It's titled, Towards Toy Show, Saturn version, VF. 2 Current Status and Future Prospects. The page is presented as an interview with SEGA Saturn Development Chief, Okachi. Okachi discusses the progress on Virtua Fighter 2 for Saturn, stating they are researching how to achieve 1/60th of a second motion for the characters, especially referencing Character 1, presumably Pei. He mentions using Daytona USA as a benchmark for smooth scrolling due to differences in TV monitors between Japan and Europe, suggesting they are aiming for similar visual smoothness. The development team is trying various programming methods and combinations to address issues. They are working on reducing polygon dropout or skipping that was seen in the original Virtua Fighter. Their focus is on the program elements, replay functionality from Virtua Fighter, and the motion capture parts. Okachi explains they are utilizing program data from the original Virtua Fighter to test things out and create new elements for Virtua Fighter 2. A major concern is RAM capacity, and they are even considering polygon chip upgrades to handle the game's demands, mentioning the polygon chip said to be talked about. He also confirms that the person who created the OS demo for the Saturn version was also involved in the Virtua Fighter 2 development team. Finally, he points out that the background techniques have been improved in Virtua Fighter 2. This article previews the Virtua Fighter 2 Saturn version, focusing on its improved animation and visual quality. The demo showcases Pei's new moves, like the back-turning throw, with enhanced speed, power, and reach. Character models are animated in real time, with cleaner and more refined visuals compared to the previous year's demo. The Saturn version's resolution exceeds arcade quality in certain areas, especially horizontal resolution. The piece teases a new demo at the upcoming toy show around June 1st, hinting at the reveal of characters beyond Pain. AM2 R&D is working diligently on the Saturn version, focusing on character stances and aiming to have other characters ready soon. The article concludes with an encouraging message for readers to anticipate the game's release. Yu Suzuki, the king of arcade experience games, is the focus of this page, which functions as an interview and career retrospective. It explores his work at SEGA AM2, starting with tabletop games, and his early success with titles like Hang On, Space Harrier, Outrun, and Afterburner. He discusses the challenges of developing games, including Turbo Outrun, and collaborating with his team. The interview highlights his passion for creating Flow 1 and soccer games. He explains how advancements in 3D graphics made Virtua Striker possible, considering it a culmination of his work. A timeline showcasing his career includes screenshots of key titles like Dynamite Ducks, GP Rider, and F1 Superlap, leading up to the release of Virtua Striker, demonstrating its detailed 3D environment. This page continues the focus on Virtua Striker, diving into the game's mechanics and offering strategic tips. It highlights that national teams have unique characteristics and formations which are key to victory. It details 7 different team formations, like 451 for Spain and France, emphasizing strong forwards, 532 for Denmark and Germany, focusing on defense, and 433 for England and Mexico, aiming for balanced attacks. It also mentions 343 and 442 double-branch formations for offensive play, and 352 for teams like Nigeria and Korea, good for midfield control. Gameplay advice includes dribble technique, suggesting not to chase the ball blindly, but to calmly react to the opponent and intercept passes in midfield, and shoot technique, emphasizing that maximum power isn't always best for shooting, accuracy is more important, and recommends dribbling into the penalty area for better shots. The page concludes by stating, Virtua Striker is in its final stages of development, with a release expected between May and June, highlighting its simple controls and promising enjoyment for all, encouraging readers to eagerly await its arcade debut. This page is all about Virtua Fighter 3 and the evolution of its CG graphics. It seems to be an interview with AM2 Research Department No. 2 Chief Suzuki about the visual improvements in Virtua Fighter 3. He mentions that with each iteration from Virtua Fighter 1, they've been pushing the boundaries of realism, using more polygons, even stating that Hair alone uses 30,000 polygons. They are aiming for a natural and realistic feel in the graphics and character movements, emphasizing light and nature. The interviewer also asks about weapons in Virtua Fighter, and it's mentioned that weapons are not used in Virtua Fighter games. The page also showcases new image CAG art for Virtua Fighter 3, featuring characters like Jackie Bryant with his sports car, Dural, and Yuki Akira. Dural is described as having metallic textures and flames, showing off the CG capabilities to render fire, and Yuki Akira is shown performing a powerful kick, highlighting the detail in the character models even during action poses. The text mentions that the modeling for Dural and Jackie is based on Virtua Fighter 2 data, but aims for a level of image quality comparable to 3D images, and is expected to be further refined. This page is centered around the AM2 Research Department's Daytona USA Time Attack contest, where players could win premium prizes. First prize was a Daytona USA champion seat and sports towel, with other prizes including large Akira posters, Daytona USA papercraft, CD-ROM carriers, and Daytona USA stickers. There was also a table showing the best times achieved by players in the Time Attack across beginner, intermediate, and expert courses in Daytona USA, all using the orange car. The page also features a comment section where the reviewer discusses the Hornet car from Daytona USA in relation to Virtua Fighter 2. They mention that while the worlds are different, the Hornet and VF2 characters feel like they exist in the same realm. There is an AM2 research gallery showcasing fan art featuring Virtua Fighter characters like Akira Yuki and Kagemaru, with a question about whether Akira's popularity is currently surging. Finally, there are player post sections featuring fan comments and drawings. One comment mentions a racing game with cute characters and talks about Virtua Fighter, while another features a fan drawing of Jackie Bryant and comments on how cool he is. Another section highlights fan mail from Osaka Prefecture, mentioning questions and opinions being sent to AM2 Research. They also mention that selected contributors will receive a special t-shirt and alpha item. The next page introduces Sega's brand new arcade system board called System H1, which they are very excited about. They're calling it the SEGA AM Rush Volume 2. This new system is designed to handle multiple machines with a single board and support various resolutions. Apparently, it's sprite-based and meant to be the ultimate in arcade system boards, even exceeding System 32 in power. The first game announced for the system, H1, is Cool Riders, a bike racing game inheriting the spirit of Outrunners. They emphasize it's not just another bike racing game, but something special, capturing the crazy American graphic style of Outrunners. They mention there are a whopping 50 courses in the game. The game allows up to 8 players to compete simultaneously. There are 8 selectable riders and bikes, ranging from standard sports types to crazy bikes and even mamachari, city bikes. You can customize your bike's performance and handling too. The screenshots show off the colorful graphics and the 8-player split-screen action. They highlight the detailed sprites and smooth animation, which is impressive for a sprite-based system. Nakagawa Chikarashi from SEGA AM1 research department, who they interviewed, seems very confident in the System 1's capabilities and the potential of Cool Riders. This page continues the discussion about the brand new arcade game Cool Riders for the System H1 board, featuring an interview with Makoto Sugawara from SEGA AM1 research department. He mentions that creating the models for the game only took about 2 months, and that the concept was born from wanting to expand on what they couldn't achieve with Outrunners. They aimed to create a game with a crazy American feel. Sugawara explains that they used model bikes and real video footage to create the in-game visuals. He highlights that there are a massive 50 courses in total, and while you can't see them all in one playthrough, a full game takes about 3 to 4 minutes. He wants players to enjoy exploring the various courses and encourages replayability. Regarding the gameplay experience in arcades, Sugawara hopes people will have fun laughing and playing together, emphasizing that it's designed to be enjoyable even for those who aren't hardcore racing game fans. He thinks players will have a blast experiencing the variety in the game. The page also showcases screenshots of Cool Riders, highlighting the diverse and visually striking courses. There are images showing off locations like a shark's mouth with Jaws and Crash text, a snowy mountain course, and even a Lupin-themed stage. The game seems to offer a lot of visual variety and wacky scenarios across its many stages. There is also a picture of the Cool Riders arcade cabinet itself, showing a dual setup for 2 players. This page is all about a very exciting video presentation of upcoming SEGA Saturn software. It's titled, Sega's Amazing Talk, Alarming Saturn Software Presentation Video. And it seems to have made quite an impression. Apparently, on March 24th, there was a SEGA Saturn 95 important software presentation, where this video was shown. The article describes it as being incredibly impactful and almost too much to take in. They mention that the video, shown on a giant screen, was a digest of SEGA Saturn games planned for release in '95, but in a very unconventional style. The presentation is described as a wild mix of visuals, like eating bad mushrooms, being on a roller coaster, and experiencing bizarre visions. It's a fast-paced, confusing, and overwhelming sensory experience, comparing it to a subliminal effect that's almost too much to understand. The reviewer thinks it's similar to a TV commercial or a company image video, trying to convey Sega's energy and excitement for the Saturn. They emphasize that the video is full of shocking imagery. Adding to the excitement, there's a giveaway. 10 lucky readers can win the above video as a present. To enter, you need to send a postcard with your details and thoughts on Amazing Talk to the provided address before June 7th. Winners will be announced later in the Amazing Sega Talk column. It sounds like Sega was really trying to make a splash with their upcoming Saturn titles, and this video presentation was a big part of that. This text explores various Sega Saturn-related topics. Amazing Talk 3 humorously describes a virtual date between a SEGA Saturn magazine reporter and a SEGA PR staff member in Daytona, USA, highlighting the game's upper-level course and the woman's interests. Amazing Talk 4 features an interview with SEGA staff regarding the potential port of arcade games like Gun Frontier and Gun Griffon to the Saturn, noting challenges and future possibilities. Amazing Talk 5 focuses on Sega's PR team, their unusual tasks, and a humorous discussion about their internal roles, including female student support. Finally, Amazing Talk 6 is a job advertisement for Sega Game Checkers, outlining job requirements, hours, application deadline, and interview dates. This page is all about Game Gear, games, and strategies. It dives into super columns, giving some advanced techniques and lessons, like setting up chains of combos. It emphasizes the depth of columns as a puzzle game and offers tips for mastering chain reactions, with lessons covering two-chain, diagonal chain, and advanced combo setups for those who want to really improve. It even has a story mode strategy section, advising quick thinking and decisive moves to win. Then there's a section called Game Gear Banitsuku, which is showcasing some upcoming titles. Tori Eyes from Acclaim Japan is described as a Mega Drive-style action RPG, with top-down view and 8-directional movement. Shining Force Gaiden. Final Conflict from Sega is mentioned as the second Gaiden title for Game Gear, and it says the story will connect to both Shining Force 1 and 2 from the Mega Drive. Finally, Nazo Puyo from Sega is previewed as an action RPG, noting the improved graphics and character designs, hinting at a fresh new experience in the Puyo Puyo world. It mentions that battle scenes are similar to board games, with event-based upgrades and strategic choices to be made. Looks like a great lineup of games for Game Gear fans. This page is all about the Mega Drive, or Genesis as it's known internationally. With a Hyper Mega Express for 16-bit user theme, it seems to be highlighting that the Mega Drive and even the 32X add-on are still going strong. The page says it's introducing 3 brand new Mega Drive-related titles. You can see a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog standing next to what looks like a jukebox, maybe hinting at music-related games or features. The games mentioned are Tempo on page 126, Periscode on page 127, and Light Crusader, which is on page 128. Periscode might be a Japan-only title, as I don't recall an international release with that name. Looks like a showcase of upcoming Mega Drive games for fans of 16-bit gaming. This page continues the focus on the Mega Drive and 32X, showcasing the game Tempo. It highlights stages 4 and 5 of the game, emphasizing the increased difficulty with tougher enemies and more complex level designs compared to the initial stages. Stage 4 is themed around underground passages where you navigate like a mole, using sound attacks to break boxes and find holes to travel between areas, making it maze-like. Stage 5 dramatically changes the scenery to incorporate plants as obstacles, requiring quick thinking to spot hazards, and features moving tree trunks and honeycomb-like blocks that can be destroyed with sound. There's also a tutorial explaining how to perform a wall kick to jump higher, a technique essential for mastering tempo. A page also announces the winners of the Tempo Dance Contest that was held in April. They received a massive 50,032 entries, and after strict judging, the best and excellent prize winners were chosen from across Japan. The winners in various categories are listed, and they all received Tempo SEGA Saturn Magazine and Gameon goods. The photo shows the top prize winner from Osaka, who sent in a great dance pose and apparently resembles a Tempo character. Periscode for the Super 32X is a polygon-based angled scrolling shooter. It features a hacking system where players can assimilate enemy weapons by fusing with them. This allows for ship customization and power-ups, illustrated with screenshots showcasing different hacked enemy types. The game includes a 2-player versus mode, utilizing the hacking mechanics and stage elements. Stages comprise 4 map types with dynamic enemy placement and obstacles. Stage 1 introduces the angled view with falling objects and polygon robots, while Stage 2 shifts to a space setting with fortress-like enemies. Scheduled for a June release at 7,800 yen, the game is 90% complete, supports 2 players, and falls under the shooting game category. It promises an exciting polygon shooter experience on the 32X. This page is all about the Mega Drive game Light Crusader, highlighting its blend of puzzle and action elements. The page introduces the game as an action RPG, with a focus on puzzles and combat against enemies and bosses. The first section details Floor 1, Shadow of a Mysterious Man, describing it as an introductory stage for learning game mechanics and puzzle solving. It features screenshots showing gameplay elements like pushing blocks, fighting slime enemies, and hinting at hidden rooms with cat-like monsters. Next is Floor 2 to 4 Orbs, which focuses on collecting 4 orbs in order to progress. It mentions that players need to solve puzzles on each floor to obtain these orbs and proceed. Screenshots display combat scenarios against skeleton-like enemies and discussions about strategies for defeating them, as well as solving environmental puzzles. Finally, the page showcases 2 bosses, Red Dragon and Lamia. The Red Dragon is described as breathing fire and being vulnerable when attacked from its feet using magic. Lamia is depicted as a fast enemy requiring strong magic for effective combat, suggesting a potentially long and challenging battle. The page emphasizes the strategic use of magic against both bosses. This page continues the walkthrough of Light Crusader, moving on to floor 3, which is the underground goblin village. It mentions that as you descend further underground, you'll enter a goblin village, and will need to find certain items to progress, or it'll be tough to navigate. Floor 4 is called Divine Sword Light Crusader. The description says some objects might look like just decorations, but could be key items. You need to proceed carefully and explore thoroughly. It mentions an economical point later on, and shops that might sell high-quality items, but they are expensive. It advises to get approved by the shop owner first, and possibly bargain if you can't afford the items, even suggesting stealing if you are desperate, but be prepared for the high prices. The first boss highlighted is Huge Spider. The strategy suggests it's difficult to fight head-on due to its size, but its weak point is its mouth. It's a large enemy with 4 legs, and the reviewer notes its impressive multi-jointed design. The second boss is Scorpion. It's described as the strongest boss in the game, with detailed graphics, emphasizing the care put into its design. The text encourages players to see it in action. The cartoon strip at the side seems to be a general reflection on game progression, talking about understanding the reason for being a hero and continuing the journey, even when facing challenging bosses, implying the game has a deeper story beyond just action. Upcoming SEGA games include several exciting titles. Television anime Slam Dunk Fierce True Confrontation on Mega Drive for the Tap controller features basketball action with SD character designs. Comic Zone, also on Mega Drive, is a comic book-themed action game where a comic artist fights his way through panels. The SEGA Saturn will see Stellar Assault, a polygon-based shooting game with smooth 360-degree rotation and 2-player support. Other upcoming games mentioned but without screenshots include Jig Wars, MD, a bodybuilding game featuring slimy creatures. Compile is also bringing its PC game series, including Shadowrun and Madhu Monogatari, to the Mega Drive between July and September. This page is all about game reviews, kicking off with Mega Gear Dog Race for Mega Drive, Super 32X, Game Gear, and Mega CD. Reviewer Aoyama Yoko enjoyed the music, but found the gameplay a bit lacking in originality and location variety, suggesting it might be repetitive. The High Rollers team praised the chaotic and fun multiplayer, especially the power-up elements. Jam Ojisan appreciated the quirky humor and chaotic gameplay, finding it enjoyable in short bursts, but possibly tiring in longer sessions. Moving on to other games. Television anime Slam Dunk Fierce True Confrontation on Mega Drive gets a quick review. It's noted for its Dream Team mode and overall fun, scoring a 6 out of 10 average. Finally, Light Crusader on Mega Drive is reviewed. The reviewer thought it had a PC-like vibe, praising the sound and gameplay but finding it somewhat old-fashioned in presentation. It also got a 6.5 out of 10 average score and is considered a bit tough. In the bottom corners, there are sections for guest reviewers and writers listing names like Tetsu, Fen, Olix for reviewers, and Year, Tetsu for writers. These folks are contributing to the reviews this month. This review covers 4 games. Warlock on Mega Drive is a Sorcerian-inspired game with a magical atmosphere, recommended for beginners despite its difficulty. Score 6. Stargate on Mega Drive. Based on the movie, disappoints, lacking scale, and featuring outdated graphics, earning a 3. Mortal Kombat 2 excels across Mega Drive, Super 32X, and Game Gear, hailed as a definitive complete fighting game for all skill levels. Score 7. Finally, Stellar Assault on Super 32X offers a polygon shooting experience, praised for its replayability and 2P mode, pushing the system's limits, though pacing and boss battles could improve. Score 7. This review compares 2 Mega Drive puzzle games, Stargate and Super Columns. Stargate, based on the movie, is a challenging memory-based puzzle game that the reviewer found difficult and confusing, with a low score for its puzzle element and an average score of 4.5. Conversely, Super Columns is a visually improved revival, lauded for its fun factor, score of 7, and Flash Columns aspect, score of 8, resulting in an average score of 7.5. The review also features recommendations. Super Columns is recommended for both hardcore and beginner puzzle fans, while the 32X section recommends various games including Stargate. The review praises Super Columns for its gameplay and Flash Columns, and also recommends Stellar Assault. This page is all about the Next Level Secret Technique League, and it's currently focused on NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Mega Drive. It seems like they're revisiting the cheat to unlock President Clinton again. The page details how to get to the initial entry screen in the game by playing head-to-head or team game modes. Once you're there, by entering specific initials and button combinations, you can unlock secret characters. They even show screenshots of the initial entry screen and some of the bizarre secret characters, like Benny the Gorilla and Hugo the Robot. Alongside Clinton and Gore, there's a big table listing tons of secret characters and the button commands you need to input to unlock them. Finally, at the bottom, it looks like they are asking readers to send in their own cheat techniques for SEGA Saturn, Super 32X, Mega Drive, Mega CD, and Game Gear games. They are even offering prizes like SEGA Saturn software and magazine coupons for the best submissions. SEGA Saturn Magazine is offering some enticing reader prizes. 20 winners can choose a SEGA Saturn game released before June 7, 1995. Other prizes include Virtua Fighter, 2 plush toys, 10 sets, 3 winners, Geekido, The Way of the Warrior posters, 5 winners, and Panzer Dragoon official guidebooks, 5 winners. Surprisingly, they are giving away Metal Jacket posters for the PlayStation, 3 winners. The April issue's winners are listed, broken down by prefecture. The information section notes a lull in new Saturn game releases, but teases upcoming multimedia formats like movie card and photo CD players. The July issue will be available on June 8th. Finally, a staff section lists the magazine's creators. This page showcases the 32X Power Big Bang, and it's an exciting promotion for the Sega 32X add-on. The text emphasizes that it's not just Mega Drive anymore, 32-bit superpower. This highlights the 32X as a significant upgrade, pushing beyond the capabilities of the original Mega Drive/Genesis. Visually, the page explodes with energy, featuring 2 futuristic spaceships battling in a dynamic space setting, complete with fiery explosions. The blue ship is prominently displayed, and the red ship is in the background. It's a very action-packed and visually striking image to get gamers hyped for the 32X. At the bottom, standard Sega Enterprise contact details are included. It's a promotional page focused on the power and visual spectacle that the 32X brings to Sega gaming. This page continues the 32X promotion, highlighting specific game releases for the system. It showcases 3 titles: Stellar Assault, Paris Code, and Light Crusader. Stellar Assault is presented as a 3D shooting game, set to release on May 26th, priced at 7,800 yen. It's described as an arcade-style 3D shooter with immersive gameplay, offering a 2-player mode, and designed to be enjoyable for players of all skill levels, from beginners to experts, even featuring a replay function to review your gameplay. Paris Code, also a 3D shooting game, is scheduled for a July 14th release at the same price of 7,800 yen. This title emphasizes the 32X's power, promising original content that maximizes the system's performance. It features large, full polygon characters for intense 3D battles, strategic power-up systems, and dynamic stage designs for a super flashy 3D polygon shooting experience. Light Crusader, an action role-playing game, also launching on May 26th for 7,800 yen, is highlighted as an action RPG from Treasure, known for their action-oriented titles. It boasts a quarter-view perspective, intricately designed multi-jointed characters, and challenging dungeons filled with traps, promising players who overcome these obstacles will be rewarded with a compelling ending. Finally, at the bottom, there's an advert for the 32X itself as a Mega Drive upgrade, boosting it from 16-bit to 32-bit gaming, priced at 16,800 yen. The Mega Drive 2 is also advertised as being readily available. This page is all about a special campaign to celebrate Sega Saturn reaching 1 million units sold. To show their appreciation, they're giving away a limited edition gold disc Virtua Fighter CG Portrait Collection to 10 lucky winners. This disc is packed with high-quality CG images of Virtua Fighter characters, showing off their lives outside of the fighting arena. It's described as a must-have for Virtua Fighter fans, offering beautiful still images created with refined CG graphics, revealing the unseen lifestyles of all the characters. To enter the draw, you need to cut out the relevant marks from the instruction manuals of SEGA Saturn, V Saturn, or HI Saturn consoles, and send them in on a postcard with your details. It's a real treat for Virtua Fighter enthusiasts to get their hands on this exclusive gold disc collection.